you have made your way to the Korav space station. Nim, your fixer, this greedy, gross little Rodian, had told you that there's somebody here who wants to speak with you. He also said that you would recognize him when you entered the cantina on the Korav space station. So you've made your way here on Valen's ship and have been here for maybe a day or two, waiting every day, kind of popping your head into the cantina. And today is the day that you actually do recognize this person. You can definitely see it's a Faline, which are big and green and notably connected with a certain criminal organization that you all have problems with. Imagine this gentleman. So he's sitting at this table. He's got this like sort of hookah in front of him, and he's like blowing these rings of purple smoke. There are two others sitting at the table with him who are like not smoking, not drinking, just looking around quite carefully. And as you kind of look around the cantina today, you notice it's a bit more full. There's maybe 6 or 7 other people, not Faline, but definitely like associated with this man. You can tell they're like keeping an eye out on the place and like watching all the exits and entrances. And they are definitely covering the place. And as you kind of like pop your head in today, you can see one of them brings a hand up to his ear and says something. And then you can see several of the rest of them bring their hands up to their ear. Obviously, the message has gone around. And the one that's closest to you walks up to you. All right, make your way to the table. When you get there, weapons on the table.
Nice to meet you too, buddy.
Yeah. He's having exactly none of it, of your sass. He's just not interested. And you can tell this man probably doesn't have a sense of humor. Like it's been programmed out of him. Now, there are other people in the cantina who are like going about their regular business. You can see a couple of games going down, people playing cards and things like that, and others sort of just drinking and having a decent time. It's not a particularly busy spaceport. Maybe that's why it's been chosen. And you can make your way across the cantina to this table and sit down. There's this strong sort of like fruit smell from the smoke that this guy is smoking. And as you sit, he takes a long drag. The other two sitting at the table with him watch you and are waiting for you to put the weapons on the table.
Rala pulls out the one blaster pistol, makes eye contact with the big green guy, and just sets it down.
Dara looks this individual in the eyes for a second, gives him a smile from the corner of his mouth, and does a very unnecessary twirl of his Lancer pistol, and then places it upon the table, and it's still spinning in the center as he lays it down, and he shoots rather a wink.
Yeah, Valen kind of walks over. He pulls the blaster rifle off of his back, setting it down on the table, pulling the pistol off of his side, setting it down next to the blaster rifle, and then sits, and then kind of looks and just kind of, you imagine he would be rolling his eyes from behind the helmet as he also pulls out his Vibra sword and puts that down on the table as well.
The other two kind of give this like almost imperceptible nod, and the smoking Faline releases this enormous smoke. That cretin Nim sent you. It is my understanding that you are a capable crew. Am I correct?
Best down crew in the quadrant.
We shall see. It seems that some of you have had run-ins with my organization. There is an opportunity here for you to have us forgive your previous indiscretions.
What kind of opportunity?
There is a task I have for you that is quite delicate. I will need you to agree to secrecy and agree to do the task before I can tell you what it is. In return, my organization, the Black Sun, will give you a pardon, and we will pay each of you 5,000 credits.
Now you're speaking my language.
Well, hold up there, buddy. Why can't you tell us before we agree? We could be walking into a death trap, signing our own execution warrants.
The information that I'm going to give you is sensitive, and if you do not agree to the deal, then you may simply do this task on your own without our approval.
Oh, we wouldn't do that.
He has this like reptilian smile that comes to his face. I believe you are making some sort of joke. Levity of some kind.
Yeah, definitely a joke. Absolutely.
There you go.
100% a joke.
Good.
Well, I don't know about you, but I haven't got all day. I agree.
I can't
Yeah,
pass up that
sure.
kind of an offer.
Good. There is a yacht, a pleasure yacht. It's making a trip through the Thraxis nebula. During this time, and due to the nebula's unique properties, they will be unable to broadcast signals for assistance. This is when you will need to strike and escape. The yacht belongs to Lord Durga the Hutt, the Great Obesity. He is celebrating a recent victory over another Hutt Lord and has brought many of his defeated enemies, as well as his wealthy friends, together to show off his wealth and cement order after the skirmishes. There will be a great many valuable things aboard, but the two things that I need from you, trivial really. One of them, a Twi'lek slave called Zabara. Extract her from the ship and bring her back to me. Secondly, within Durga's archives aboard that yacht is stored information about an upcoming project of Durga's. Get that information. Once you have those two things, make your exit as swiftly as possible. It is best that Durga does not know you are there.
What kind of project? If we're on a time crunch, I don't exactly have all day to sift through whatever files this fellow's got.
Our infiltrators so far have discovered the word Dark Saber.
And that's it?
That's it.
Fine, that'll have to be enough.
What about this nebula? Will it have any derogatory qualities that will affect our vessel too?
Your scanning equipment will be affected. It'll be more difficult for you to plot astrogation jumps out of there.
Look, another thing. Slaves? That isn't really my deal.
The Twi'lek is a slave of Durga the Hutt. My intent is to take her and give her freedom.
Can I see if he's lying at all? I don't know what I can use for that.
You certainly can. I think, let me see. So I would say you can either choose vigilance, perception, or yeah, one of those two.
Vigilance or
Perception.
perception. I don't see either of those things.
Okay.
In general skills?
Yeah. In the first rank, perception is.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah.
So it is. So it is. So it is.
In the second column, vigilance is underneath survival and streetwise.
Yeah, so it is. I will do vigilance in that case.
Okay.
Let me see. So yellow and a green.
Oh, sorry. I have to give you a difficulty also.
Okay.
It's going to be 3 purples to see through this man.
Yeah, I bet it is. All right. There we go. I don't know what that means.
Let me have a look. Oh, it's not good. So that's the triangle is a failure, and the other symbols are threat, which is like a disadvantage of some kind. So I think maybe you're looking at him very intensely, and when he says that, maybe there's a look of incredulity that crosses your face, something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, completely. I think although he likes to think himself as like a smart ass and that he can read people and he can always pull the wool over people's eyes, like he's not quite as good at doing that as he thinks. So yeah, that's totally cool. He has no idea.
So he like looks, and I guess you would see one of his brow ridges sort of like imperceptibly raise. You believe that I'm being deceptive?
Hey, it's all part of the line of the work, is it not? But why would I mean, come on, level with me. Why would the Black Sun want to piss a hut off? Come on.
The Huts are enemies. Durga the Hutt is becoming very large for his boots.
Say that again.
Durga the Hutt is becoming very large for his boots.
Dara, we
joke.
need to stop talking. Dara.
I do not need to explain to you why I need the Twi'lek. I need you to get the Twi'lek and bring her to me. If you want the money and the pardon, then you will do the job. If not, we will hunt you down and deal with you ourselves. We have more than enough reason for most of you.
And where will we be rendezvousing with you?
When you have the data and the Twi'lek, you can use this communicator, and he like slides this thing across the table to you. We will give you a location then.
And if we're going to be in this nebula cloud, and how are we supposed to get in touch with you?
You will have to exit the nebula cloud before you communicate with us. We have the schedule, we have acquired it, of the Pleasure Yacht's route. It will be within the nebula for 48 standard hours.
Oh, that's a tight window.
You are an excellent crew, the best in the quadrant, I have heard.
Didn't say it was impossible.
Good.
How long before this window starts?
He like looks at his arm. He's got this like sort of screen there, and he like presses a button. 38 hours from now.
Sound like we have too much time to spare then.
The route that they are planning, he presses the thing on his arm again, and you get like a beep on your various communicators. Has been like given over to you. If there's nothing else.
Sorry, Lloyd, just out of game question. Did we get this guy's name? I don't remember this guy in particular. I'm just gonna Darren's gonna stand and he's gonna make that motion to say to gesture to say, is it okay if I pick up my blaster? And whilst he's doing that, he says, you got a name?
I do.
You want to tell me?
I am the Black Sun.
Quite a complex you've got there.
He turns to the one next to him, your name, and he says, I am the Black Sun.
Oh, they're doing that thing again. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. We will be in contact very, very soon. And he shoots him a smile.
Do not fail.
Never do. He lies.
Raleigh will stand and pick up her pistol and then kind of back away, not wanting to turn her back to this charming crew.
Yeah, Valen's going to go through laborious process of re-putting all of his various weapons back onto all of the various spots before turning and making his way away.
So you leave the cantina, and the sort of fruity stink of the smoke and the music and all the rest. People gambling, all sorts of shady stuff going on. You leave that and go into the space station proper. Are you going to go straight to your ship? Or what do you want to do? It's up to you guys.
I don't like this one bit.
See, not only a perfect chance for a heist, but a perfect chance for a setup. If they know that this is going to be a point for them, there's no way they don't go in without extra safety precautions. It'll be dangerous.
I can get around some of their safety precautions if we're close enough. That'll require some tight flying by you, Jex.
We have one advantage. Everyone within that nebula will be unable to communicate with the rest of the galaxy. That plays into our favor as much as it does the Black Suns and Durga's forces. Hey, we'll all be flying blind. We'll be on an even playing field.
Never play on an even playing field. Even when you think you are.
Exactly right, Valen. Ever the optimist. You know we have the advantage.
That's not what I meant. But I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Do you?
Well then, what now? You have a little time at least. Try to sort something out.
Lloyd, would I know if there's any particular tool set or equipment or gear that might be helpful to getting on a ship undetected and off again?
So getting onto a ship or off it means you need to dock your ship to theirs. There's no teleport sort of technology. You got to literally, there's a tube that goes from your ship to their ship, and you walk across that tube in space. Is basically how it works for most, especially the kind of small ship that you have. If their ship is big enough, they possibly have a dock, but you don't know how big it is. So some of the really big ships, you can, bring your ship inside of. You could make a check to see what you know about pleasure yachts, especially hut ones. I would say that would be lore or outer rim or underworld, any of those three knowledge skills. The difficulty...
all of those.
Okay, so pick whichever one you prefer, and the difficulty will be 2 purples.
Okay. Let's see if I have any skills that help me out here. I don't think so for this. Okay. 2 purples, you say?
Yep. Okay, nice. So that's 2 successes and an advantage. So you rack your brain thinking about what you know about these hut pleasure yachts. They're generally pretty big, and they're built for entertainment purposes. They often have fighting pits inside, or observation decks where you can go and basically stand under glass and look at space. there'd be like bars and all sorts of like that kind of stuff inside them. You don't think that they have a dock. It's not that big. Not big enough to like you to put your ship inside. I think that's probably all you would get. You would think, yeah, you would think that you need to like connect and dock normally.
We can make this job easier. We can say, hey, we need help. Our systems have been scrambled by the nebula. Send out a distress call.
Like a hot pleasure yacht's gonna stop for a distressed ship.
They might be having a good day. They might think it lucky. A lot of gambling happens on these yachts, from what I can tell. Maybe you're right.
Unless we're bait. And we seem to have something on board that they might be interested in.
Oh no, our valuable assets are going to be lost to the nebula if we don't have help. I like it.
Should at least get us on board. Although, let's be careful if we go around advertising how much valuable things we have. The odds of them finding it interesting to check out while we're on the ship go up a lot. Especially if we're going to be returning to it with other valuable things.
Well, we've got to get there first, and time's of the essence.
Fair enough. We'll figure it out as we go, as usual.
As usual.
Yeah, I do think bait should at least be plan B for bait. Let's have a better plan A. We'll think of it.
Sure. We'll find some.
Cool. So heist with no plan. All right. Is that the plan? All right. Let's wing it.
We'll talk about it on the way.
Yeah, we're gonna. We're riffing. We're riffing.
It's a long ride.
Okay. So you make your way through Korov space station, past various like beggars in some of the corridors. You get some odd looks from some of the thugs, but then they see Valen with you, and then they look away. And you can make your way down to the dock area where your ship is. Do we have a name for the ship?
Does it belong to Valen?
Yeah, he owes a lot of money, but it does technically belong to him.
Mm.
Does not currently have a name.
No, if you wanted to make one up, or you guys can just make one up.
Like the Nyx Hound, that's like a Mandalorian weapon enemy. Like they were like a beast, weren't they, on Duxon?
Mm-hmm.
Nyx Hound.
I like that.
Okay, the Nyx Hound. You can get on board and get ready to go.
Who flies? Is it Valen?
I have pretty good space piloting skill, so it would just depend. Is anything better?
I have 4 greens in piloting for both space and planetary.
Yeah, I have a yellow and 2 greens.
Yeah, you're the one.
It's not me.
I imagine it's Valen's kind of like my ship. I get to decide where it goes, kind of thing. And he would begin preparing the necessary pre-takeoff stuff from the deck.
Yeah. We also need an astrogation check because I'm imagining you're going to want to use the hyperdrive to get there rather than fly at sublight speed. So that's an intellect-based. That's, I think, definitely the hacker's job.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. What difficulty?
So I'm just going to say it's 2 purples.
Do you want a piloting from me right now or a little bit later on?
You don't need it right now. To pilot out of the station is like mundane. You'll be able to do that for sure. Yeah, so you're able to put in the coordinates just outside of this nebula. You don't want to jump into it, I assume. Yeah, okay. So just outside of this nebula, you can punch in the coordinates. And you actually manage to find like, or you're aware of, a sort of current in one of these like hyperways that'll get you there a little bit quicker. So you'll get there quicker than you would have normally with your advantage. So you can punch that in and get ready. And then as you kind of like make your way out of Korov space station, then into space itself, you can punch it and begin the journey. So it'll take you the guts of a day to get there. Is there anything you'd like to do on the ship before you get there?
So we need a plan. I came up with the last 3.
Is there any way that we can bring up the model of the ship? Maybe we can get a layout.
Good idea.
Of their ship?
Yeah, if there's some way we can use the HoloNet or whatever to research what those ships kind of like, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
There's like some sort of standard model for these types of things to try to pull up, even if it's not necessarily as detailed as specific blueprints, at least kind of a general map / layout.
Yep, definitely. So let's see. If you're using the computer on the ship and whatnot, I think that you could do another knowledge check, and you can have a boost this time, which is a blue dice.
I've got 4 greens for knowledge.
Yeah, that'll be you then. At least you beat me.
It'll be 2. Was it 3 difficulty last time? 2. So 2 purples. You also get a blue dice, which is a boost, because you have this computer that you're using.
Ooh,
oh,
wow.
Okay, so you're able to find somewhere in the deeper parts of the web a schematic for a generalized sort of hut pleasure yacht. I don't have a schematic, but I can tell you what the layout is. So it's got 3 levels. The lowest level is basically just for the crew. It's where the engines are. It's where like the weapon systems are, all that sort of stuff. So on the bottom level, that's like not for passengers. The middle level has a fighting pit, generally fighting pit, or like a any sort of like large entertainment area. On the front half of the ship, it's a long, sort of like an oval shape. The back half of the middle level is a large cantina, almost always, with like a stage for music and things like that. And then the top level tends to have a specialized sort of glass where you can see space itself. And so that's why they go to these nebulas, so you can like look at it directly as you're in it. It's supposed to be beautiful and amazing. So there's basically the whole top deck is this sort of like glass observatory. Generally speaking, that's what's on the ship, layout-wise.
Would there be anything in there to suggest where, you said they wanted to find data about that project, would there be any at least educated guesses as to where something like that might be and all of that? Maybe on the bottom deck?
Yeah, I think that would be guesswork.
Yeah.
All of the like essential systems and stuff are on the bottom deck, so maybe there, but also it could be anywhere, you know.
So Dara is quickly making a sketch, maybe on a data pad. He's drawing his fingers across, making a rough shape of the ship. make sure that he has details about the observation deck and the fighting pit and the cantina. And he looks to his 2 comrades and he says, maybe if we can knock out the engines, we can buy ourselves more time, keep it in the nebula longer.
I mean, knocking out the engines is doable, but not exactly subtle. Black Sun did say it would be best if they don't know we're there.
Raleigh, you're one of the best engineers I've ever known, and I'm pretty sure you can make it look like that the nebula is playing havoc with the ship systems. Right?
X flattery gets you everywhere. Fine. Fine. We can probably make it work. Obviously, I'll be the one digging through whatever horrific files he's got. Who's going after the slave girl? The Twi'lek? Zebra?
She's likely going to be in the cantina or the fighting pit. Maybe she's a promotional act before the slaughter begins. Maybe.
Yeah, I figure she'll be somewhere on level 2 at the very least. Either the pits, the stage. Sometimes they use them for dancers, things like that. Finding her isn't necessarily going to be the difficult part. At least I can't imagine. So what do we do once we find her?
Well, I'm guessing it won't take much convincing to be freed from slavery.
Doesn't mean that
I'm
part.
not worried about convincing her.
Honestly.
If she had the wherewithal and ability to walk herself off the ship, I'm sure she would have done so already. I don't think it's a matter of her choice here.
Is there a way that we can schedule or at least hack the systems to put in the ship systems that we're scheduled to meet them?
That'd be doable. Drum up some sort of an invitation.
Yeah, like an invite list. And make sure we're VIPs. I want a free drink when we arrive.
I don't know if you can pass for VIP, but that might not be relevant here.
It's a hut ship. No one looks like they can pass for VIP.
Fair point. Okay. So, are we all VIPs, or do we want somebody to maybe be unnoticed so that they can go to the computers?
Absolutely. Valen should be my bodyguard.
Fair enough.
There are a few things that still hold weight in this galaxy, and a Mandalorian is one of them. We'll be treated with a certain level of respect because of that.
Even if it's a disgraced Mandalorian who's been kicked out of the Death Watch.
Can still kill a lot of people. That gets a lot of respect.
But I imagine it kind of like irks Vane a little bit, you know, to be called a Mandalorian.
Oh, really? Is Valen not like wants to like escape his roots? Jeff, is that what it is?
So yeah, he was betrayed and got kicked out of the Death Watch, which is obligation. So this kind of mixture of, you know, when you were a part of something that you liked being a part of, and then they like you get seasons. So there's that mixture of like I like that, but also like, oh my god, I hate them.
Yeah, I'm with you. And maybe you could be a combatant. Maybe you could also be a combatant in the fighting pits.
Okay. So, Jax, you're coming in as the VIP with your bodyguard who you might sign up in the fighting pits to bet on. Honestly, I think it might be simpler. God, I'm gonna hate this. For me to come in with you as your escort. That way, if I'm... Yes. Jax, don't make me change my mind. I just think it might be a little simpler. Yeah, lap it up.
Sure, simpler. Okay, all right. If that's what you want to call it.
Do you know where I'm gonna have to hide my gear?
I only dream.
All right, I'll see if I can manage as an invite.
This is a great plan. This is a great plan. I'm really proud of us today.
It was mostly my plan again. Just saying, you guys got to keep up with me.
So your fingers dance across the keyboard as you try to slice your way into some HUT database to give the impression that you're invited. So it's going to be pretty difficult, firstly, to find it. It's much easier to slice something when you're there, right? So like if you're on the HUT ship, then it's really easy to do, or easier. But now you're going to have to like do it via the internet or the data sphere or whatever you want to call it, which means that there's firewalls and such to get through a lot more. So I'll need a computers check from you, please. Firstly, to locate the appropriate place to make this this hack. That's going to be difficulty 2 for computers for you.
2 purples?
2 purples, yeah. This is the easy part.
Huh. Oh.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's actually very interesting. So what you have there is 2 successes, 2 threats, and a triumph. Triumph is like a crit, basically. So you've successfully located the right place. The threat is, as you kind of like begin to look into it, you can see that this place, this site, is just like devastatingly well protected. Like you would expect it from the HUTs anyway, that they're kind of, you know, their security in terms of like criminal enterprises is extremely high. So that's the threat. It's pretty dangerous. You think that there's a danger potentially if you go deep enough that they will be able to like reverse and find you. That's what the threat is. But the triumph, something excellent happens in this situation as well. And I'd like to throw that to you guys to kind of see what you think.
So just excellent regarding like the computer search and getting into the system.
So in relation to the check you just made, like finding the thing. So mine was like, oh, this is quite dangerous. Yours could be, oh, but even though it is dangerous, you know, this is one thing I've discovered or one extra thing. You know what I mean? Like it's an advantage on top of the success that you've had.
Ooh, what if once we list, even if we're because we haven't made the check to actually put ourselves onto it. What if we're able to get like a sort of a roster or who's who of who's on the list?
I like that. Yeah,
something like that.
That's really good. So you've got this. You're able to like find pretty quickly like a manifest of the guests, and you'll be able to, with the triumph, you're able to see who's coming when. So then you could potentially like replace one of those guests with you. Okay, so you found that. You can see this like list of guests. Now you need to break into it. This is going to be a lot trickier.
Okay.
What you're going to need to do is a purple and a red. Now you have slicing gear and you have a data breaker.
I do.
I think the data breaker is real good. Let me just double check exactly what it does, but I think it gives you major advantages when you're slicing.
It adds 2 blues to any computer check made to slice computers.
There you go. What were you going to say, Rob?
Jax would have another question, but I mean, it can wait until after you've done this one. It's just another thing to look into about this yacht in particular, but we can do that afterwards if you like. I don't mind. Or if it can be included in the role, it's up to you.
Okie doke. Yeah, throw it in. Let's see what happens.
So Dara is just staring at the screen over Rala's shoulder, and he's like, "A pleasure yacht is unlikely to have many defensive capabilities. Are we sure that this yacht isn't going to have some kind of fighter contingent, like an escort, like a patrol that monitors their journey? It's unlikely they're going to be moving through dangerous quadrants and sectors of space without help."
Yep. Okay. So you can throw that into your next, which is breaking through, and then you'll be able to see some of that stuff. I'll give you like a menu when you get through this hack. So you got your dice, which should be your computers plus 2 blue.
Yep.
Difficulty is going to be a purple and a red.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Ooh, my goodness. It's a lot of successes. So you're definitely successful. You would see, Dara, like your fingers just like, and like menus popping up and then closing, and like, just like a little montage of her hacking the crap out of this thing. But there is one window that pops up for a second that goes bleep, 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 and then closes. That is the thing that you closing it really quickly. That is a threat, a bad threat. They are beginning to look for you. So like someone on the other side, a slicer on their end, has realized that there's a breach, and that person is now trying to find you.
Oh no, I gotta go faster.
Okay.
One of my skills is that it takes 25% off whatever time for a computer's check, so I'm really fast.
Yep, absolutely. So this menu pops up. There's a guest manifest, crew manifest, and it's not called a fleet, but like convoy manifest. Those are the 3 things that you would see there.
So I'm gonna switch my no recorder on as these things are popping up so that I can get playback for later.
Yeah, nice. So those are the 3 things that pop up. You get these 3 choices.
I'll start with guest list first.
Yep. So you type it in, bam, and then there's like this scrolling list that goes past you pretty quickly until it gets to the end, and then you're able to like scroll up and down and have a look through. There's like some notables here, notably a bounty hunter that you're very familiar with, a Trandoshan called Hask. Quite a famous bounty hunter. Trandoshans are like very large lizard people. So he's on the list.
What is this familiar? Like we've heard of him, or familiar like he'd recognize us?
You're familiar with his work. He's like a name that you would like be like, oh crap, it's that guy. But other than that, there's like this big list of names, and there are various like +1s or escorts or whatever who are coming with them, and their scheduled time to arrive also.
So who's scheduled to arrive just after the nebula? Because I'm thinking if there's someone scheduled to board after they've gone through the nebula, we could, if like maybe slot in ahead of them and be like, oh, well, they sent us ahead.
Yeah, we can make it look like a data failure, so we were like double booked, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, sorry. Yes, so say that again.
So we can make it look like potentially like a data entry failure. So there's like a double booking, maybe, just to make it a bit more confusing, like 2 people showing up at the same time, just so their attention's on other people as well as us when we arrive.
Okay. I'm gonna hit this this name generator a couple times and see what I get. So, okay, I'm gonna put these in the chat. These are the people who are arriving roughly around that time. So these 3 are listed to come just after the nebula arrives. They each have escorts. The first, Itloga has an escort of 5 other people. Joven has 3 others. Kailash is on his own.
And are these names that we would know? Like, is this someone that's recognizable, or is this just somebody who's paid to get on?
You can make me an underworld check, if you like, to see if you recognize these names. They're definitely criminals. You would figure that out if they're on a hut pleasure yacht, but you don't recognize them immediately, you know?
Yeah, and I'll toss it to the others as well. Say, anybody recognize these names?
Bleep, 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 bleep. Window pops open again. There's definitely someone who is triangulating your source within the slicing.
Shoot. All right, no time. We're gonna be Joven, or you're gonna be Joven. All right. We're gonna like slot in, and then they double booked, and we're arriving at the same time. Okay.
But we can't double book with someone who's also going to show up and say they're Jove, and then that's going to
pick another name. I'll put it on. Let's go.
Put my name. No one will know me, I think.
Do you want them to be able to track you after this is over?
No one can track me, doll.
Fine. Adara Jax plus escort.
So Adara Jax plus 2?
Bodyguard.
Yeah, plus 2, yeah.
Okay. Another hacking check. Please, another slicing check. Computers. I'm going to say it's going to be the same difficulty, so a purple and a red. But because of the stress of the situation, I'm going to give you a setback, which is a black die. You'll still get your boosts like you did last time because you have your data breaker. Oh my goodness. What a roll. That is tremendous. So that is 5 successes, 3 advantages, and a triumph. So you tell me what you want to happen because it's happening.
Oh my god. Okay. So I would first. I'm gonna mislead the slicer on the other end and pick one of our old grudges that is not the Black Sun. But pick one of our old grudges to like point him that direction and make him think that the hacking source is coming from someone else.
Yep.
Maybe it's someone whose code style I know, a little distinctive.
Sure. Yep, that's definitely doable. So that would be your triumph, I think, because that's pretty complex to do that on the fly. But you're able to like give the impression that it's like Zalgo, this old like Weequay who like crossed you a couple of times when you were first getting started and like is constantly fucking with you. So you send them off the scent to go and find Zalgo instead. You're definitely able to like change the manifest and add Dara plus 2 to the crew manifest. And then you also have these advantages. So what do you want to do with those?
I have a suggestion, if you don't mind. Maybe so to make their ears perk up even more, you can make Dara Jex look like he has wealthy connections, perhaps in the Chandrilla markets, perhaps maybe in the heart of Coruscant itself, perhaps. Just make sure that he looks like he's someone that people would want to do business with, of all kinds. Weapons, spice, roll up.
Perfect. So you can see when you're looking through these names that adjacent to each name or at the end of it, there's like a couple of symbols, like Hutti's sort of symbols. And when you're kind of concentrating now, looking at it, you think that this is like a sort of legend to tell each name what the name is associated with, right? So some of them like have like a golden symbol that's like wealth, and some of them have like a red sort of sword symbol that's obviously like a military leader or something like that, right? So you can like slot in a couple of those for Dara to make him look like some sort of spice dealer, something like that, who's like fairly well known and wealthy.
Yeah. And if there's any advantages left, something that ties him to someone they would kind of trust as much as Huts trust anything. So he's not going to be under microscopic scrutiny.
Sure. Yep. So you can like add that symbol, and then like change the time of the entry to be like 4 weeks ago, so it doesn't look like it was added today. You like finished all that. You like smash the enter key, and then you're like logging out as quickly as possible. And then you need one more to log out without leaving a trace of yourself. So it's going to be the same roll you just made, but this time it's 2 setbacks.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh guys, this is. I've rolled really well, and I'm really scared.
All right, man, you're good at computers. Nice. So you're able to like log yourself out, and you're able to like remove all of the traces, like clear the browser history, so to speak, and the cookies and whatnot, so that they can't trace it back to you. You like hit the button, and you like take a step back and take a breath.
Yeah, absolutely. She just because it's back. Okay, we're in, and I don't think anyone noticed that it was us, and they may think it's Zargo.
Yeah, I imagine with Valen's level of computer knowledge, he has basically no idea what you have just like the scales. He was just like, oh, good, thanks. He just like really like they're playing on accident how everything you just did.
Yeah.
Good. Good. That was. Never mind. Never mind.
Good. Got us in. That was the plan. It's good.
All right. So how long do we have left?
It's a couple of hours.
I'm going to get ready.
Me too.
I mean, we got to look the part, right?
Of course. You sure you have something that can howl somewhere in there?
Say that again, sorry, Jeff.
Are you sure you have something that you can pass as principal hidden away back there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was just going to put maybe some axle grease in the hair, you know, slick it back a little bit.
So you can go back and into your quarters and like try and make yourself look like a merchant instead of a you know, whatever you might be. I don't want to cast any aspersions upon your character, but yeah, you can get yourself set up pretty decently. If you want to make it look very professional, you could try and make a roll. I think you might have a disguise kit on you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Let me just double check. I think that you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look too.
You do, yeah. Yep.
Oh, rad.
So let's say we'll make that a deception, I think.
Yeah.
With the difficulty of 2 purples.
Okay, I'm just scrolling back up. Deception. Oh, 2 yellows. So 2 yellows, 2 purples, yeah?
Yep, that's it.
2 yellows. Purple.
Does the disguise kit add anything to that, or just to allow him to make the roll?
That's a good question. Let me check. I feel like it just lets you. Yeah, it just gives you the ability, kind of.
Okay, here we go. That doesn't look. It looks all right.
Okay. Yeah, it's a success. So you have made yourself look like somebody else, someone maybe above your station, but there is a threat there. So something's not quite right. There's like a detail you've missed. You know, so maybe you've tried to make yourself look like a spice miner or something, but like there's a particular thing that spice miners do and you haven't done it. You know, something.
I think it's more just that he is a little bit clueless about it because he's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know much about living in a station higher than he's already in. So he looks like a poor person trying to look like a rich person. I think.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And
Perfect.
it looks a bit disheveled and a bit windswept, you know.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't carry himself with the sort of confidence that a rich person would. Okay. Great. Yep. So maybe he comes out of the quarters and he's got like this sort of comical robe on, like looking like a spice miner, like a merchant prince. What about the rest of you? I mean, I think that Valen's obviously going to just go in the armor, right? But
Yeah, if I'm playing as his bodyguard, I think it makes perfect sense for me to literally just go as.
Yeah. Rala, are you going to wear any sort of costume? Or are you just going to go as you are?
No, she's not gonna go as she is. She like emerges from her quarters, not making eye contact, and you're not sure at what point this clothing is a generous word appeared in her collection. But it looks about like you'd expect. There's lots of things that are see-through and lots of ornamental decorations, and she's like, I hate this. I hate every second of this, but gosh, it would be good to be out from under the black sun.
The times I could have done with you around the Pazak table, sleight of hand or what, right?
So you're all decked up and ready to go, and there's a as you come out of hyperspace. You can see the nebula before you. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like purple and reddish sort of nebula. Just amazing. There's like various asteroids and things in there that will be very interesting to look at for the pleasure yacht as they sail through. And you can start making your way towards the point where what's his name? Joven. Oh yeah, where Joven would have been beating. You can go there, and you can like wait there for the yacht to arrive. So I'll just need a quick piloting check from you, Valen. I'm just going to say it's two purples, planetary. Sorry, not planetary, space piloting.
And let's see, it is a. You said 2.
Yeah, 2 purples. Okay.
Right.
Yep. Not a problem. Success and advantage. You're able to get there, and actually, you're able to like manage to hide your ship, kind of like land it on the side of an asteroid that's not moving particularly fast. So you can just like wait there, turn the engine systems down, so you won't be detected, and wait. So a little bit of time goes by, a couple of hours, before you can see, literally out the window, see this pleasure yacht. It's going exactly the route that it's supposed to. It's pretty huge, and it's flanked by 3 sort of fighters that are like protecting it, obviously. It's moving very, very slowly, and you can see already, like from at this distance, like the lights and stuff coming from the top where the observatory is. Imagine like the way they have those like searchlights, those spotlights, above big events. Very, very glitzy sort of thing. The barge itself is quite glitzy as well, even though it's Hut. It's kind of rounded in typical sort of Hut fashion, and you can see it there, not too far away.
I do love a party.
By the looks of it, so does Rala over there. She's certainly dressed for the occasion.
Valen, don't make me rub dirt on your helmet. I know how much you hate that, but I will smear whatever I can find on that visor.
Rala, don't get your tendrils in a twist. Let's just be professionals. We're professionals. Let's do this.
Of course. Whatever you say.
Rala, you have a very, very nice voice. Why don't you get on the comm and announce our arrival?
Fine.
so you can take off and begin flying towards the barge, and you're hailed.
Yeah. Once we have clearance, Valen will go ahead and get the ship into position and go to dock.
HWK 290 freighter, send transponder code so we can give you approach vector.
Transponder codes incoming. We have on board Darajex and 2 escorts.
One moment.
They like to keep people waiting. It's fine. It's fine.
I hope everything worked. Be sure it did.
You can see one of the fighters dips a wing in your direction and peels off towards you.
Valen, just be ready, but relax too. I mean, be ready and also relax. Can you do that?
I can definitely give you.
You go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think being interrupted probably, like, I can give you ready, but, and then, like, the ship moves in and he stops to.
Yeah, the fighter, like, moves alongside yours, and you can see, like, as it pulls up through, like, the glass plate at the front where the cockpit is of your ship, you can see on theirs 2 Weequay sort of pilots in this fighter, and they're just like and you can see them like looking into the window, so close that you can actually see them, which is rare for space. They basically do like a loop around the ship, follow us. So they lead you through the little bit of asteroid field and through the nebula until you approach the barge itself. The fighter flies underneath, and you can see that underneath there's like this open sort of bay. You're gonna have to like flip the ship upside down and connect the bottom of where the exit ramp is to their ship. So I'm gonna need a piloting check from you. Difficulty is going to be 3.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so success with a threat. What do you think the threat is?
I guess, God, I feel like this might be shooting myself too much in the foot for a threat. So if this is too much, then say so. But like maybe the fact that this is like a Mandalorian, like this ship is clearly not a spice merchant ship, might be confusing people. Like the ship is not nearly quite the grand and fancy excursion that you would imagine like this crew to have.
Yep, it's like a shitty little freighter. Yeah, I like that. So maybe there's a couple of people who are like in the docking bay who are like raising eyebrows. But nonetheless, you're able to dock, and the dock opens. You're able to climb out and into the ship itself. You're greeted by this like perfumed Twi'lek man who like spreads his hands wide. He's got these disgustingly long nails and sharp teeth. You are Dara Jex, yes?
That is absolutely 100% correct. Good to meet you. It is fantastic to be here. Ever so sorry about the delay. Can't get the help these days. He gestures back over at Valen. What's the itinerary?
We have all of the delights you could imagine here of the flesh, certainly. And he like looks at Rala for a second. This and he like licks his lips. For sale, or?
We can talk about that perhaps over a drink sometime.
Yes, of course. Yes. On the second level, you will find the fighting pits and the cantina. It is where we have our dancers. Maybe your slave can find work there for the evening. On the very top, we have the observatory where his great obesity himself is, if you'd like to pay your respects.
I would absolutely love to. We go way back, since Nar Shaddaa, in fact.
Indeed, he has... I'm certain his great obesity has many friends.
Yes, he certainly has. He's gone a long way. I'm very proud. Very, very proud. Excellent. Well, we shall make ourselves scarce. And where do I get a drink around here, you know?
Of course. Your second level, you will find the cantina. Drinks will be complimentary, of course, for you.
So usually I'm very much accustomed to drinks being brought to the landing platform to sort of herald my arrival. But you know what? I'm going to be forgiving. I'm in a really generous mood today. What was your name? Sorry.
His eyes widen and he like clicks his left hand behind him very quickly. And you can see that there's like some slaves who like quickly run and grab like a tray and like shakily bring it over. I am Uch Unana.
Uchunana. Well, here's to your pleasure. And he drinks.
Cheers. It's like this Hutties sort of drink. It's got like a slug perched on the rim of the glass. It's like this greenish liquid. It's actually fairly delicious, like fruity and very high in alcoholic content.
Whew. Hit the spot. Just what I needed. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, of course. And he's like looking between you and the slug, and then back to you and the slug. Like, are you not going to eat the slug?
How short-sighted of me. Allow me to. And he eats the slug, and like a look of revulsion just melts across his face.
He looks delighted, like it's necessary for you to eat the slug. You know, he like thinks that's really important. Good. I'm glad you enjoy. Now, if you'll follow me, I'll bring you to the second level.
Invertebrates, my favorite. Thank you.
So he begins walking and leads you to like this little lift you can get in, and brings you up to the second level. And as it opens, there's immediately like music and like chatter all around of people. As you're leaving as well, somebody takes the ship and like brings it, obviously like as a valet or whatever. That would happen before you leave, actually. But like to bring the ship to like the normal parking area so that it's not like in the only docking bay. Is there anything you want to do with that? Or you're fine with that?
Does it look like there's an easy out after, like, or are they gonna have to move it back, or?
You would think that they're like basically using some sort of like track technology to make sure that the ships are staying next to theirs, but it's not like immediately accessible. You know, you'd have to get somebody to get it. Because there's only one docking bay, and everyone who comes has to like dock through that bay.
Yeah, as much as Valen doesn't like it, I don't think that there is really a whole lot. Like, if you make a request to have easy, quick getaway access, that's looks worse than anything else. So I think we're gonna have to find a way to deal with it.
So then he leads you up to the second floor, and as I say, there's like all this noise and music. He says, to the right here you will find the cantina, and to the left, the fighting pits. If you wish to go speak with Durga immediately, you can take the lift up to the next floor. And I'll be at your service if you require anything else. Have a pleasant stay.
Dara just gives him a nod and just waits for him to be out of earshot. And he turns around and he says, "That's stage one."
Rala is like, has her arm hooked around yours, and she goes, Jex, if you even joke about selling me to someone, I will castrate you with a spoon.
Okay, that's good to know. Let's go and see our friend Turga.
What? Why? I have things that I would like to, look for on the computers. Do we even need to talk to him? I know you're having fun playing dress up, but we actually have a goal here.
What I'm saying is that it might be nice to have a few contacts once this job is done. Sure, we might be stealing from him, but he won't know that. Maybe.
I don't like huts, as a rule.
Look, I just ate one of his family members, okay? I don't like them either.
Yeah, you're gonna have a better poker face than that, by the way.
What do you mean? I'm unshakable. Look at me. Look at me. I'm unshakable. Okay, you go and do you find a terminal perhaps. Balin, why don't we check out the fighting bits? Find the slave.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Always split the party.
So, Dara and Valen are going to go to the fighting pits and have a quick look. And what are you going to do, Rala? Are you going to try and make your way back downstairs to like the service level?
Yeah, Rala was kind of keeping an eye out to see what areas are least populated and where might be a room that she could slip into and try and access a computer from inside someplace where she's not just standing in a hallway or...
Sure, yep. So there are terminals kind of like in the hallway that you're in now. So if you imagine there's like a lift on the side that you just exited, and then directly opposite you there's another one. And then to your right, it opens up like this big glass door, opens up into this huge cantina sort of bar, club area. And to the left, there's like not a glass door. It's like a security door that leads to the fighting pits. There's like a sign in Huttese and in Arak-Besh and like a couple of other alien languages as well as basic that says fighting pits, and then the other side says cantina. So there are terminals here in this hallway. It's not busy in the hallway. Most people are either in one of the two rooms or upstairs, but it is a hallway, so people will be here. In terms of actual computer bays and stuff like that, the schematics you got would suggest that those are on the bottom level where all the surface stuff is.
Okay. Maybe down on the bottom. I don't know. I'm just trying to decide what the best place is going to be.
Failing me old cock. There's this voice as like the doors open. There's like this man. He's got this scar running from like the crown of his head all the way down over his left eye and like down into his like chest. He's got this tattoo on the right side of his face. He's got the shape of a warrior, definitely. He's not wearing armor, but immediately you think this man's a Mandalorian. And he's got his arms wide, and he's got this like smile on his face, and he walks up and like claps you on the shoulder, like a little bit too hard, Valen. Still wearing the fucking armor, even though. Oh, how are you?
Would I recognize this person?
Yes, this is Beskar. He would have been like a sergeant to you. Like not directly in your squad, but like rank wise would have been ahead of you.
Yeah, and I think that he like he says like still wearing the armor even though, and like Obviously, Valen's face isn't apparent right now, but there'd just be a scowl that would go across. Yes, turns out the armor is pretty useful, even if other things have changed.
And change they have, nay? Interesting. And what are you doing here, for God's sake? Why would you come here? Ghastly, I think, really.
I'm sure you find it incredibly tough to enjoy yourself here, he says sarcastically. I'm here on a job to act as a guard of sorts to a friend.
And who's your friend?
Darn
Just kind of
Jex, at your
gesture.
service.
Jex. What is that, Corellian?
Something like that.
Interesting. And what do you do, Mr. Jex?
What don't I do? What do you do?
I kill for money.
Ah, can imagine that's very, very useful on a yacht like this. Are you going to be in the fighting pits?
No, I'm taking care of security.
Oh, are you? I imagine that must be a trying test of your abilities.
It's not, but the Huts pay well.
That they do. That they do. Why? Are you experiencing or expecting any trouble?
No, I don't think anyone would be foolish enough to try and do anything here on this vessel. Nonetheless, the Huts are careful.
And they have every right to be.
Well, nice to see you again, Valen. And then he takes a step towards you and kind of whispers, and you'll easily pick it up through your helmet. Only a Mandalorian, only a son of Mandalore, only a member of the Death Watch should wear that kind of armor. Have a nice evening. And he goes to excuse himself.
Yeah, I think Valen's just gonna almost go turn to a statue with fleeting rage. He's not going to there's no outburst. He wouldn't even perceptibly move necessarily, but his ifs and the just disgust in it.
Great. So one more person who will recognize our faces. Or your armor.
Yes, we'll have to be careful. He's not someone that we want to have on the other side if things go sour.
Let's find this slave. And Jex is just going to start looking around. Yeah.
So fighting pits or a bar?
Fighting pits first, and we'll move to the back of the ship. We'll go front to back.
Yep. So you can go through that security door. It opens, and you're greeted with this stench immediately of sweat and booze and smoke. And it's loud in here. There's people shouting, people making bets. People are waving money around. And you can push your way through the crowd and see that there's this pit maybe 30 feet down, and in it there is a team of 3 slaves, it looks like, that are chained at the ankle, and they all have spears, and opposite them is a creature of some kind. Maybe you don't know what it is necessarily. It's kind of like a large predatory cat, but bigger than that. Its face is all teeth, and its tail ends with this blade at the end of it. And it's kind of snarling and roaring. It hasn't attacked yet. The 3 slaves look terrified. They've like backed into a corner and they've got their spears out. But that's what's happening at the moment. People are like beginning to like shout at them and boo. People are like throwing things down at them. And you can see, like, quickly glancing around, like you can see that there is a what are they called? A Gamorrean who's like got his arms folded. Those are the pigmen. And he's like watching the whole thing. He's obviously in charge of this fighting pit.
The cat thing, out of game for a second, is it like the one that you see in the arena in Attack of the Clones? Is it that thing?
It's not, although I realize now that that's almost what I described. It's actually a sorry, I have it written down somewhere.
No, it's okay. Like, I was just wondering what it was. Maybe a creature.
Yes, it's a Malras, which you can Google if you want.
Okay.
It's
For a
actually
second.
from Duxon.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so he looks down at this creature, and a thought goes through Jax's mind for a moment, which is maybe if that thing got loose, then maybe that might prove a suitable distraction, like as a last resort. So he makes a mental note of that. He's also a little bit, he finds it a bit distasteful that, you know, the slaves are chained when they have to fight such a vicious beast, like as if that wasn't enough.
Yeah, there's people all around, like slavers, obviously, and like people like that who are just like standing and like kind of like laughing as like one of the slaves urinates on himself in fear, and like pointing like, oh, all these weird aliens with their strange laughs and like strange customs. Everybody is like smoking some sort of strange alien cigar, so there's just this acrid, like thick smoke in the air. And the floor is like incredibly sticky, whether it's blood or like spilled alcohol, it's hard to know. There's also this like incessant beat, this like of this like disgusting scaldy techno like blaring.
Well, I imagine that I already kind of answered based off the way that you described it, but Valen's gonna lay over the slaves just to kind of try to eye them up. Actual people who can fight, at least on some level, or if they're just sending in like average to get slaughtered. He's guessing it's the second.
So it doesn't even take much for you to cop it. Like, you're a warrior and you have an idea with these things. These are maybe criminals that are being like executed. Like, this is not a fair fight. There's no possible way these guys are going to defeat that thing. You think it's there is a possible way, but it's very unlikely. You think that this is like a sort of execution that's happening.
Yeah, I think Valen would kind of turn over and whisper to Dara, kind of in the noise of the crowd. They said these would be fighting pits. This isn't a fight. It's an execution.
Yeah, they like to make a show of it, an example. They like to spread fear, and it works. It works. No sign of this slave, then. What was her name again?
Zabara.
Zabara. Maybe if we make a request that we wish to see, and you can see it's kind of seconds him to say it, but maybe we can see some of the stock that they have.
Perhaps. Might be an easy way to find her.
Let's go to the cantina and ask. That's what I usually do.
So as you kind of like muscle your way back out of the crowd, you can hear this like, and then there's like splat, splat, slash, whoosh, and the crowd goes mental. And you can like, as you turn to look, you see like a severed arm like fly up out of the pit, and like somebody grabs it and they're like, Wah! Like that's some sort of reward that they've gotten. As you make your way back out into the hallway, we'll have a quick look at what are you called? Rala is doing after we take a quick break because I want to get some coffee. So 2 minutes.
Right on, right on.
I am back. So I hope you're enjoying this if you're watching. It's the first time I've run Star Wars in a very long time. I used to run it a lot. It was one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite games, but I haven't had a lot of cause to run it as of late. But I think I'm going to try and get back into it because it's great. So how are you finding it, Taylor?
I'm really enjoying it. I don't know what I'm doing now that, we've split the party. I feel like it's a terrible idea and we have awful plans. We're just winging it. What could possibly go wrong? But it's a fun game. I've only played this system, I think maybe twice, and I really enjoy that the dice are just lend themselves to the narrative really well. It's just kind of, you're successful and really successful. Let's figure out what that means, and let's figure out what a threat means. And
yeah, it's like my favorite game to GM because like it's very improv-y, and like the results vary so wildly. And I think if you're not asking the players for input, then you're doing this wrong, with this particular game, because it's like so collaborative. I just love it. I think it's great. Also, you had like a hacker battle. That was like a combat that you went through, but it was hacking.
So cool. That was so cool. And I was really good at it, which was, oh man, that one roll was insane.
Yeah, Jesus.
But I like that you can succeed and succeed really well and still have threats. So it's like, yeah, you're doing really well, but that doesn't mean nobody's noticing or you're getting through it totally unscathed. I like that feel of it.
Yep, it's like not a binary success or fail sort of system, which is what I love about it. Because in D&D, like you hit the number, you've done it. If you don't hit the number, you haven't. Here there's so much more. Like you can fail to do the task, but get like 10 advantages, right? So like you haven't done exactly what you wanted to, but something great has happened. Or, you can succeed, but have despair, which is like awful. Something terrible happens, but you've done what you wanted to. I think it's great. And the reason that guy came up is because at the start of the game, I rolled obligation. So you guys each had obligations or whatever. And I rolled it, and Jeff's is the one that came up. So that's why the Mandalorian is in there. It could have been any of you. It was tricky now because lots of you, or two of you had Black Sun things. But yeah, it was. I had to give you a reason to like want to work for the Black Sun.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason. Like, oh, we'll forgive your debt and we'll pay you.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yep. I guess all you're doing in return is pissing off one of the most powerful huts, but hey.
I like that he's called the obesity. That's really cool, man.
Oh, yep. That's clever.
He's a real hut.
Yeah, that's great.
Look him up. Durga.
Yeah, man. Durga, man.
His title is His Great Obesity, Lord Durga the Hutt. It's just fucking great. Okay, so we're all back. So they have, let's say, they've gone into the fighting pits. At that stage, what are you doing, Rella? Are you going to try and go underneath to the service levels where you know that there is a computer room and like access computers? Or are you going to try and find one up here?
I think first she would try and find somewhere up here, maybe in a side room that has an access terminal for something probably unrelated.
Yeah.
And her goal is to be in that room and trying to get in through this kind of back door.
Okay. Yep. So then I would imagine like next to the elevator, there's a little door that you can see. There is a data pad that you'll need to like enter a code into to open the door. It's kind of for like staff only. So just as they go into the room or whatever, there's quiet in the hallway. So you can make me a computers check. You also have a thing called a data spike, which if you want to use, you can like basically like shove it into whatever port you're using, and it gives you advantages, but it's like damaging, and you'll use up the data spike, and it's kind of like a brute force method.
Definitely not yet.
Yeah,
that might come into play later when I'm more desperate, but for now.
Okay, so then give me your computers. Difficulty is going to be 3 purples.
Okay. That's good. Right?
That was you. Yeah, so it's 2 advantages, but not a success. So
But not a success. Okay.
Yep. So you're like working on it, and you're like putting in keys and stuff. And the door from the cantina opens, like, and you're able to like quickly turn around and like lean against the wall, sort of like seductively as they walk by. Maybe do like a little wave, and they kind of like walk by into the fighting pit and don't seem to notice you. Luckily, you were able to hear that just before it happened, so they didn't see you like working on the data pad. You can give it another go if you like. I'm going to say that because you didn't succeed, it's going to be a setback.
Okay. I can remove 1 setback based on my talent of bypass security.
Okay, great. So then just a normal. So 3 purples.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Oh dear.
Okay, so it's, and you're like working on it. You like take out a little side like data pad, and you're like plug that into theirs, and you're like working on it. You're like seeing the codes come up or whatever. And finally, there's like a beep, and the door opens, and you can see inside, and there is like this little room. It's got a little computer pad, like a terminal, but also standing in the room is a droid. And as you like, the door opens, it like turns around to look. Present identification.
Sorry, wrong room. No, she's too familiar with the droids and their ability to sound alarms if somebody is trying to get past security. She's gonna find somewhere else.
Okay. So you like quickly like close the door and like leave. Do you want to go upstairs or downstairs, or what do you think?
Yeah, we'll try downstairs. We'll see.
Okay.
Well, let's just see what happens.
Yep. So you press the button, and it takes a few seconds for the lift to come, and you're able to get in and head downstairs. The doors open. You can see that currently the sort of docking bay area is mostly empty. There's a couple of slaves who are standing around always. Several of them are like cleaning one of these smaller ships that is actually parked in here, like a one-man fighter. And the pilot is like leaning against the ship itself, smoking a death stick. Kind of just like looking around. He's like looking at a data pad in his hand. Now, you can see there's like this big room that has like the docking bay itself, and then if you go like left or right, there's like a corridor that you can go into that leads into the ship further. You think that's probably where you have to go. How are you acting? Because this pilot is definitely going to be confused by your sudden appearance.
She's going to act like she knows what she's doing and just give him a little wave and walk off down the corridor if she sees him looking at her.
He raises an eyebrow. Where are you going?
Oh, I'm supposed to be meeting someone down here.
Well, fuck that. Meet me instead.
How much?
He like looks around at the other slaves, and they like make their way away. And you can see he's like trying to figure out how much he can pay you without having to pay you a lot. Who's your master?
Well, I mean, I'd have to go find him and see if this is even a viable arrangement.
Well, 200.
Sorry, better let the big boys play.
I can do 5.
Again, I mean, it's really not my decision. Like I said, I'm supposed to meet someone else down here, and, well, I can't really go back on that now, can I?
Oh, come on. 500 right now. We can jump into the ship.
Pretty nice little ship. Is it yours?
Yeah. He like puffs his chest out a little bit.
Oh, are you a pilot then?
Yeah, I work for his great obesity.
Oh, really? Well, I'm sure you must get paid really well for that.
Not as well as you think. I got paid about 500.
Do what?
Listen, slave, I'm offering you the cash here. I don't have to.
No. Watch your tone, I might think that's a threat, and my master would be very unhappy with you.
He's not fucking here, is he?
He could be any minute.
He takes out his like wallet and he takes out this little cred stick and he like puts it on the floor. He leans back against the ship. Pick that up.
No, why would I do that?
I'm telling you to. I'm getting sick of your shit.
You're not paying me, and I'm not supposed to meet you.
Last chance.
All right. But inside the ship or inside one of these rooms over here?
He looks around. Yeah, in one of the rooms.
Yeah, she's gonna walk that direction. Does he have a weapon on him?
He's got a blaster like in a holster. So he's a Weequay. Weequay are like big, kind of like almost scaly aliens, known for being mercs overall. He's got a blaster in his pocket, but he's like a pilot. He's obviously not a soldier, you know. Yeah. All right, with me. And he goes like and walks towards one of the rooms and like puts in a code, which you're able to spot and like memorize. And the door opens. The cantina. There's music, booming, disgusting techno music, like awful. And it's like dark in here. There's like laser shows and all sorts of stuff going all over the place. And inside, you can see that there's several like cages made of laser, in which there are dancers who are like dancing to the music. There's people all around playing Pazak, and lots of people like drinking. You can see people like snorting powders off tables. See people who are like sitting around like these strange hookah devices and like all of them smoking from it. There's one table that has this like peculiar sort of hologram, and a bunch of people are like have something plugged into the goggles they're wearing, and they're just kind of like unconscious in the chairs around it, enjoying it. And yeah, that's what you see as you enter.
Dara swaggers up to the bar. It's just inherently in his walk. He can never get rid of it. And he slaps his hand down on the bar, and he beckons over whoever's at the bar of the cantina.
There's a couple of people behind the bar. people is the wrong word. Aliens of various descriptions. There's a Ithorian who has like a hammerhead sort of face and like a mouth on either side of his neck. He says, which will translate to like, "And how are you this evening? What can I get you?"
I'm actually a man of very diverse tastes, my good Ithorian. I have it on good authority that there are some of the best ladies one can find in the galaxy here. I'm looking for one in particular, one that has a, shall we say, reputation, and he shoots him a wink.
He like smiles with both of his mouths. We have quite the selection. Although that will be something you'll have to speak with Zarn about. And he points to the end of the bar. There's a Deveronian who's like leaning, his arms folded against a wall, smoking a death stick. And he's kind of like looking out over the bar. He has this ridiculous coat, this long coat that's like bright purple and like a fur collar. And as like the barman points to him, he like follows the trail and like looks at you. And then this like smile comes across his face. He's got these like white shining teeth, and he like breaks away from the wall and approaches. "Hello there, sir. You're interested in pursuing some of our wares?"
That's right. That's what I'm here for. Amongst a great number of other things, you and I are going to be good friends.
Good.
I hear that you have many things to offer.
There is no pleasure, no rapture, no sin that we cannot offer to you here.
That's what I like to hear. Now, my friend here, and he gestures to Valen, says that, you know, slave stock, why bother? You know, they don't put the heart and soul into it, you know. But I say that if you come to the right places at the right time, you can find anything. Now, I have been hearing a rumor that one of your slaves in particular is particularly feisty.
Have you indeed? We do have a particularly winsome, beautiful. She is perfection in flesh, although she is not cheap.
Perfection. Well, perfection is in the eye of the holder, and I would very much like to see her. Cost is no option, good sir. Let me assure you.
Well then, we'll have to do a quick credit check, of course, before we initiate. Understand?
Of course. And he sort of like shoots Raylan like a look, like, what the fuck?
It's not that I don't trust you, sir. You seem like a man of means and station. Nonetheless, we've had some reprobates come in here thinking that they can have a good time with the quality, and that's simply not the case.
Reprobates. I have stock in the Carillion market, Chandrilla. You know, I have a stock in the spice mines of Kessel. You don't need to do this, but let me suggest this. Let me suggest this if you would just take one moment. As I'm sure you're aware, many of the dignified guests here would like to keep a number of their financial matters under wraps, shall we say. So if I were to potentially show you extra generosity, and through his fingers he flicks like what looks to be like a cred stick, like he doesn't know how much is on it, but like if I show you a bit more generosity, then perhaps the credit check may get mixed up in the data files. It might just go missing. What do you say?
I think I have you exactly, sir. I mean, there are many who run corporations who cannot be seen to be spending funds on the kind of thing we have here. Absolutely. I suppose if you were to offer some sort of gift, that would not be inappropriate.
A gift. Are you in business, other than working for the fine, obese one above?
I am his keeper. I ensure that the chattel and the property of his grand obesity remains obedient, pliant, and of good stock.
Fantastic. Well, as I'm sure you're probably aware, I have a network of financial opportunities that you would relish in. Someone of your talent, someone of your keen eye would do very well with what I have on offer. Perhaps stock, perhaps contacts.
Interesting. He brings his like clawed hand to his chin and like drums against it for a moment, and you can see his like dark eyes kind of like calculating. I believe that we could come to some sort of arrangement.
Absolutely. I'm very glad you said that.
I'm a man of business, aren't we all? And he like claps you on the shoulder. Very good. Then we will make a deal. I will show you the quality. And thereafter, you will give me your name, and we shall speak hereafter. It'll just be between me and you, of course.
Oh, of course, of course.
And your friend here.
Well, he is very, very quiet.
It's an excellent quality to have in a bodyguard.
Yes.
Well, if you follow me, sir. And he like moves through the cantina. And you notice that people just like move out of his way. There's no like physical threat being made, but everyone seems to make space for him. He like leads you to the back of the cantina behind the bar and opens a door like with a code, and goes down this stairway, this sort of spiral staircase, and another code, another door, and into this brothel. There's like pillows all over the floor, like little sort of pits in the floor with pillows, and just beautiful women of all description. But your eyes are immediately drawn to what you can only assume is your target, a Twi'lek, green of skin, definitely beautiful, but there's something about her that is more than that. You're just like drawn to her, your eyes are drawn to her. Something unusual. She's dancing around a pole, and there's like this particularly disgusting Gamorrean who's like sitting, his like elbows on his knees, like leaning forward, and he's like like grunting, and like occasionally like throwing paper money at the pole.
Jex like immediately like tilts his head to sort of like talk in Zan's ear, and he says, "Now, I will of course be paying for the pleasure of the company of your fine ladies. However, the presence of," and he looks around, "the presence of a Gamorrean is somewhat counter to instilling a certain ambiance, shall we say."
He smiles. You can see his like sharp canine teeth. "I think I have you exactly, sir. They're not exactly conducive to eroticism. I understand. If you'll hand over a little portion of that gift now, I can see that he vacates the area." And his eyes like linger on the cred stick that you've been like toying with in your hand.
God. Tara looks around at Valen once again, and he's like, "This is the end of the road. This is what my shit talking has got us to." Looking around, is it just the slave girls, the Gamorrean, and him?
There are
or other?
There are cameras, firstly, visible, but there are two guards. They would be Weequay also, who are like standing. So if you've come in the door, like one directly opposite you and one in like a far corner, they're standing there. One of them seems to be asleep. The other one is like holding this like long Weequay rifle, but just looks bored.
Certainly.
So as Dara, as they're kind of toying with this cred stick, Valen's gonna pull out a cred stick of his own, and say, "If you please, master, don't use that one. That, as you the funds on that one need to be tracked much more carefully. Might I remind you? Use it instead. And remember, And as he kind of looks up towards this man, this is just a small piece of more to come. And he's going to hand over his cred stick with, it only has 100 credits, but he's trying to play it off as like there's going to be a lot more coming.
100 credits.
Dal rejects immediately.
That adds up.
He immediately clicks onto what he's doing. He spins around his arm and he goes, absolutely. And might I give you one small piece of advice? If you're going to have a bodyguard, also ensure that they are proficient with accounting. You never know what happens. You never know where you're going to put your money until it's too late. Thank you, Valen, for reminding me.
What a useful man you have here. He's not for sale, no?
I would never, ever, ever consider it unless you made me an offer. But we can talk about that another time.
Everything's for sale, no?
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, he takes the cred stick and like puts it into his pocket. He doesn't look at what's on it. He assumes it's going to be at least 1,000 creds. I mean, he would assume. And he puts up his finger. One moment, and he goes over to the Gamorrean and like leans over and like whispers in his ear. And the Gamorrean's like, and he's like, no, listen, it's not a big deal. Some sort of technical malfunction. I'm going to have to ask you to go back upstairs. And you can hear him like pouring this honey into his ear. And the Gamorrean finally like grunts, takes one last look at the Twi'lek. He like grunts something in Gamorrean at her, and she looks disgusted, like wrinkles her nose. And he is like escorted out. Zoran, as he passes you, gives you a wink.
Jex returns it, and he actually goes to sit near where the Gamorrean was, not actually where the Gamorrean was, because he's made that mistake before. And he sits down, and he immediately beckons the Twi'lek to him.
There's like a barely concealed sigh as she like sees the Gamorrean leave and then sees some other John come into the place and just like, and then like smiles and walks towards you. The door opens of the small room, Rala, and you're like ushered in by this Weequay, and he's like looking around the place. Well,
computer terminals that I can see.
It's not a computer room. There is a terminal, but it's not like you would know that like a ship of this size would have like a communications room, you know, where like the actual like computer banks and stuff would be.
Would I think that I could access the kind of information I'm looking for from a basic terminal, or would I need to get to that computer room?
So if you think you could do it, but it would be very difficult. The closer you are to the actual source of the information, the easier it's going to be for you to get it. Like from here, you'll have to like hack into that other thing first, you know, and like there's more steps involved, and so more chances for it to go wrong.
But I saw his code, right?
For the door, yeah.
Okay. That might be what I need then to get in. So, I suppose, you know, I am actually rather fond of technology. It's always been a weakness of mine. Something about the lighting.
You're a pleasure slave. How do you even know how to... What?
For the ambiance, darling.
All right. What? Turn it on then. Turn on the terminal. I don't know. Hurry up. And he like unbuckles his gun belt and lets it like drop to the floor. He like starts to unbuckle his shirt.
Yeah, she's gonna like just real quick take a pass at the terminal and see what kind of security it is.
Yep. So this is this terminal is you can see at a glance is like connected to the docking bay controls and stuff like that. So it's to do with like the ships that are being towed and the ships that are coming in and stuff like that. There's nobody in here at the moment, but you think it's mostly automated. But that's what the control is here.
Okay. So this is the docking room. This is how we'd get our ship back then, maybe.
Yes, definitely. This is where it would be.
All right. So she does that, and she kind of saunters over towards him. And I'm going to pick his gun up and point it at him.
So I think he watches you like saunter over, and he's like, "Oh baby," and he's like rubbing his hands together like disgustingly, like excited for what's about to happen. And then you like bend down, and he's like, "Oh baby," and then you pick up the gun, and he just like, "Hey, listen, this is not what I want from this experience. I mean, maybe there are people who are into that, but that's." He's like not copping it at all, you know. Put that down. You're going to hurt somebody.
Is there anything that he would be able to tie himself up with, or do I get the sense that it's going to be safer just to blast this shit out of him?
You think he wouldn't tie himself up?
Okay. She goes, you know, whatever you were thinking wasn't really what I was looking for out of the encounter either. And I'm just going to shoot him, hopefully just straight in the like chest or face or something that'll kill him. Oh,
okay.
God.
So you can make me a ranged light attack. You're very, very close, so the difficulty will be 2. I'm going to give you a boost because he's just standing there. He's like not expecting it. So,
okay, ranged light.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I actually have some skill in that. That's good.
And you have a boost, and difficulty is 2 purple.
So the boost is the blue, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, dice.
All right.
Woo! I hit him.
All right. It's awful. There's like this explosion from the gun that he has. It's like a pretty powerful little handgun. It's a sidearm, but it's like a decent one. You catch him right in the chest. It's going to be 8 damage, which is enough to just like kill him. It's 7 + 1 for the success and the advantage or whatever. So he just goes, and he like looks down for a second at like the hole in his chest, and then just like collapses onto the ground.
Is there anything else on him besides the cred stick that I already have?
I mean, his clothes. That's it.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop. Weapon discharge in Sector 4. Whoop, whoop.
I am out of here. Are there cameras in this room?
Not in this room.
Okay, good. Are there cameras in the hallway?
Yes.
Do I? I want to know if I have enough time. Yeah. She's
whoop, whoop.
Gonna like pull on her shirt a little bit and like back up and like pinch herself a few times to fake up some tears.
Okay. A couple of moments go by before what are they called? An Aqualish thug basically like comes into the room. He's got like this stun baton in his hand and a pistol in the other. And he like looks and he sees the dead Weequay, and then he looks at you and he goes, which will translate to like, what the fuck happened here? Why is this man dead?
She like shaking hands. She like kind of puts the pistol down. Oh, he attacked me. I had to.
Who is your master?
Dara Jax. He's upstairs. I was supposed to meet a client here, but
he like takes these like manacles from his belt and throws them at you. Your master will see to this.
Very well. Yeah, I'll put them on, I guess.
So they click into place, and he like goes over and like grabs the manacles and like lifts you to your feet, and kind of starts dragging you behind him back into the lift and up to the second floor. The Twi'lek approaches you guys, and she like turns her head to the side. A dance?
Actually, a word.
She like raises an eyebrow. I'm proficient in many forms of pleasure.
Yeah, I'm not actually interested in that. I know you probably get this a lot, and you know, I mean, you look amazing, you really do. But I've got to be professional, and I'm just going to say my name's Jara Jackson. I'm here to rescue you.
She like raises an eyebrow again. I have no need to be rescued. I know my place.
No, 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 no. You don't understand. You do not understand. There's a lot going on that you don't understand. You need to trust me. There are people that wish harm on board many on this ship. We need to go. And I've been assigned to personally remove you from this vessel.
She looks at you and she says, are you telling the truth?
Yes, I'm telling the truth. What do you think I'm whispering?
She looks at you again, and you can feel like the sort of the hairs in the back of your neck stand up. And then she like moves back a little bit. You are telling the truth.
Wait, how did you do that?
I don't believe it.
Oh, I don't believe it either.
Who sent you? How? How did they know I was here?
We have powerful friends. Friends that are interested in you.
All right. What's your plan? How do we get out?
That's the thing. We have a ship. And we're gonna go and we're gonna get on the ship and we're gonna leave. But first we need to get something else. The Hat has some kind of plans that we need to intercept, we need to take. So you're gonna need to be ready.
I'm ready. And she like looks at the guard. Hey, you want to drop your weapon? And he like looks at her and he goes, what did you say? And he like takes a step forward. And she says, you want to drop your weapon. And he goes, I want to drop my weapon. And he puts it on the ground.
Dara looks absolutely horrified. He has heard stories, but he's never witnessed such a thing. And he looks back and forth and back. And then he's just waiting to see what happens because he doesn't know what she's going to do.
So she's actually chained like by the ankle to the pole. There's like maybe 10 foot of range or whatever. But she looks at you and she looks at the guard and she like kind of inclines her head.
Oh, God. Dara walks up, giving Valen like a look like, what are we going to do? And he picks up the guard's weapon. And waits to see if the guard does anything.
He's got this kind of like dopey expression on his face. And then he goes, hey, that's mine.
Dara's gonna look around. Is that like, are we still surrounded by people?
No, it's you guys, the two guards, and the Twi'lek in here. You had paid to get the Gamorrean gone and the others who are hanging around. There are some other slaves in here. And you know that there's at least one camera.
He says, hey, that's mine. And Dara looks to the weapon in his hand. And he says, not anymore. He just shoots the guy in front of him.
Okay, let's roll initiative.
All right.
So what you can do is
Oh, God.
there's two types of initiative in this game. There's vigilance, which is when you are surprised, and there's cool, which is when you're planning to attack. I think that you can roll cool because I think you're both kind of aware that something's about to go down.
And also, Lloyd, just to remind, I can't remember what you said, but I have like
Yes.
I can use strain as well, can't I?
Yep. If you want to spend strain, you can spend 1 strain to give yourself an automatic success on initiative.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
So as a question then for that, so my vigilance is actually better than my cool is. Do I still use cool? Because like I don't really know for the system how exactly that works.
It's because of the situation. So it's situational. When you're planning something, now I mean you could argue that you're not planning it. Like you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, oh shit, he's shooting him. But,
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Honestly, like if it's, I don't want to like try to just totally meta power game it, but that was kind of my assumption. Was like, okay, we're gonna like round these guards up, like, and try to get her out. Oh my god, he just shot. Like,
yeah. Okay, that's fine. So you can roll vigilance.
And do I add
I believe
blue
so.
on that as well, then, Lloyd, if I've done the strain thing?
You just add an automatic success. So if you see in the dice roller, there's a symbols button. You can click that to add the success symbol, which is like the dot between the wings. That'll add the symbol without rolling a dice.
Perfect.
I thought that was the advantage. Isn't success the explodey thing?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm an idiot. Yes, explosion is the thing.
Well, in that case, I got 4 explosions or 4.
Unbelievable. Excellent.
Yeah, I got one.
And okay, so the way this is initiative is kind of based on what you want. So, I mean, you can choose to have Valen go first. It's like your side goes each time you have a slot in the initiative. Now, it makes mechanical sense for you to go first because you're great at going first. Dara, but it is a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, you could change it up if you
And
want
also
to.
situationally, I think it makes sense that like he's literally starting off by shooting. So
Yeah. Okay, so you get a bunch of bonuses for shooting first.
Okay.
You add a blue. You also add, I think your gun is accurate too.
Yeah, accurate and 2 piercing.
Okay, so you'll basically roll range light, difficulty of 2, and you'll add 2 boosts.
Okay.
Also, so before you roll, there's also a maneuver you can take. So a maneuver is like a movement usually. You get 2 maneuvers per turn and an action. 1 maneuver is free. The second maneuver costs strain. A maneuver that you can do is called aim, which will give you another blue dice.
I will do that. But so I already get 1 for accurate, and then I get another 1 for aim.
And you get another 1 for quick strike because this guy hasn't acted yet. So you'll have 3 blue dice.
Ooh, okay, so that's 3 blue dice, 2 yellow dice, 2 green dice, and 2 purple dice for the difficulty.
Yes, you're gonna fuck this guy. Oh my god.
I'm gonna roll it. Here we go. Skadoosh.
Okay. Yep. That's nice. So that is a definite hit. The damage of your weapon is
I'm sorry.
5. It's all good. I have it. So 5, 6, 7 damage and 2 advantages. All right. So 7 is enough to just kill this guy outright. If you want to describe how that happens, there are also 2 advantages. So you can kind of tell me what you think the advantage is that you get.
So, okay, so the guy says, that's mine, and then Jack says, no, it isn't, and pulls his weapon from his holster, and there's that explosion that always happens when a blaster hits someone, and he's thrown back, and I'm going to say he smashes through one of those hookah things, sending vapor into the air, hopefully obscuring the security camera. Just
Excellent.
For a moment.
Perfect. Great. Yep, that's great. So you fire, and there's this sudden like of smoke. This like thick, acrid, sort of like fruity smoke that like fills the room very, very quickly. The laser like sort of ignites it, and there's like a, and suddenly there is smoke. Excellent. Okay. So he is dead, dealt with. The other guard, who was kind of asleep, like wakes up, what? And he like, and he like takes his like big rifle, and he's just gonna like lift it. He's gonna point it. He's gonna try and shoot at Valen.
bring it on.
Do you have any defense?
2 melee, 1 ranged.
Okay. Oh goodness, that's okay. It's a really good shot. So the defense gives people who are attacking you a setback. which usually is quite good. But he got a triumph, which I'm going to use to make it a critical hit. So the damage is going to be pretty substantial. It's going to be 2 + 8, so 10. But it's mitigated by your soak.
I have 6 soak.
Yep. So you'll take 4, but there's a crit. So now I got to find the amazing crit table in this game, and I need you to roll a percentile, please.
Yes, sir. I have no idea what any of the numbers correspond to here. So 34.
Yep. Okay, that's probably not too bad. Low is good. Just trying to find the crit table. Here we go. Okay, 34. Stunned. The target is staggered until the end of his next turn. Okay, so he shoots you. The armor takes up most of it, but maybe he hits you like right in the back, where you're not looking, and you kind of just like are jarred. Staggered, I think, means basically. I don't think it's as bad as stunned. Good call, Lloyd. I'm not looking at any of this before the game starts. Okay, yeah, staggered character cannot perform actions. Okay, yeah, so basically you're D&D stunned for a turn. So it like catches you poof, in the armor. Maybe it hits one of the power coils in the armor, and you're like trying to lift the armor on your own, and it's exhausting and heavy. Okay, that's him. And then it's your turn. You don't get to take a turn, and then we're back to the top to... Oh, no, sorry. Actually, the Twi'lek is going to go. She is going to... reach out. You can feel this like subsonic like and a glass from one of the tables flies across the room and like smashes on this dude. I'm gonna see if she can do that. Okay, yep. Okay, so she reaches out and this glass just like smashes onto the guy. The noise is pretty loud, and as like he takes another hit, and the first guard finally hits the ground. That's how fast this is all happening. The alarm, whew, 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 weapon discharge in sector 11, and yeah, that's the end of her turn. Now we're to you, Dara.
Yeah, so the alarms are ringing and the glass smashes into this dude. He sees his opportunity and he is just going to try and take this other guy out. He wheels around and from the hip, Han Solo style, with a hand up in the air like that, and is gonna try and hit him. So that's 2 yellows, 2 greens. Is it difficulty 2 again, Lloyd?
It'll be difficulty 2, yep. And if you want to aim, you can have 2 blues. You won't get the third because he's acted this turn.
Yeah. Is there any limit on how many times I can do that with the aim?
You can aim twice if you want to take strain. You can take 2 strain to aim again.
Okay. So if which one was free? I get 1 for free, right?
Yeah. So you have 2 maneuvers. The first maneuver you can aim for free. If you wanted to, you could take another maneuver to aim, but that'll cost you 2 strain.
I'm gonna do it. We need to take him out. So another 2 strain. Okay. So that'll give me 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 yellows, and 2 purples. Let's see how it goes. Is that good?
Oh, goodness. That's very good. That's a crit, I think. Let me just check your weapon. Crit 4. Yep. So that's going to be 5 damage. And then a percentile, please. Let me just check. I think that you have killing blows or lethal blows. Yep. So give me a percentile and add 10 to it, please.
Okay. Where's the percentile? Sorry. Oh, it's the 100 there. Okay.
Yeah.
And add what to it? Sorry, mate.
10.
Did that roll? I don't think it did it?
I don't see it.
There we go. 27 and add 10 to it. 37.
Yeah. 37. Stinger. Increase the difficulty of his next check by 1. Okay. So he'll have a red die to hit next instead of a purple.
Oh, so he's not dead?
No, he's not dead.
Shit.
Not quite yet. Okay. His turn. He's going to point the rifle at you and try and get you with it. But he's got a red and a purple. And
Okay.
one of these. Okay, he misses. So it like thunks into the wall nearby, but there is an advantage. I'm going to say that he hits. Any ideas?
Maybe it blows up like lighting fixtures that are put on the wall, so it like there's like an explosion that maybe it could throw me to the ground, perhaps, or knock me off balance or something, whatever you like.
Yeah, I like that. So he like hits one of the chairs nearby, and it like smashes into you, and you're like knocked onto the ground. Okay, and then it's Valen.
Valen's gonna turn back towards this guy who's shot him, and also Dara, but that one's less important. And just anger and vengeance overtakes him. He's just gonna try to blast this guy straight apart.
All right, go for
pulls
it.
out his blaster rifle, and this is gonna presumably hurt a lot. All right, and I will use one maneuver to aim as well, so it's a blue die.
Yep, that's right.
Four successes and two
Jesus.
advantages.
Okay. Oh God, this poor man.
And that's base 9 damage for a blaster rifle. So.
Oh God, yeah. So he's dead. You've done 9, 10, 11, 12 damage to him.
Yeah. So Valen just like wheels around, just whips up the blaster rifle in 2 hands, it just rips straight through him, just right in the chest.
Yep, it's he's like knocked back into the wall from the force of the blaster rifle. This is no mere blaster rifle. It's like jury-rigged Mandalorian iron, and does not mess about. And he's flung into the wall and collapses dead. Okay. What do you want to do?
Dara wheels around and he says to the Twi'lek, Zabara, he goes, "We need to make this look like they were doing something wrong, perhaps approaching you. Perhaps when someone arrives, you can do what you did to him." And he points at the dead guard.
I can try. It depends who comes. Some of them, no.
Oh, okay. And what he does is he puts his blaster back in its holster and he puts his hands on his head, ready for people to come in and find them. He doesn't want to look like they're,
So, Rala, you're being dragged through the cantina by the manacles or whatever, and you can see like a couple of people are like staring. Like one alien like slaps you on the ass as you go by, and you're being dragged through whatever, and then you can hear like whoop whoop. Weapon discharge in sector 11, and you can see like the barman like give this sudden look to the left, and this red-skinned alien with horns raises an eyebrow, and he looks across the bar, and it's like you can like follow the trail of looks, so it goes from the barman to him, and then across the bar to this 7-foot tall lizard who's like standing there, and he like looks, and his like tongue flicks out, and he just begins moving towards where the red-skinned alien is. You're dragged all the way to this red-skinned alien, and the Aqualish who's dragging you says, "This one downstairs killed one of the weak way. Said it was self-defense. So their master is." And he like clicks at you.
Dara, Jex.
The Deveronian furrows his brow. Interesting. Come with me. And he like goes towards the door, and this large lizard follows along with the Aqualish. And you go down the spiral staircase and then into this other door. And you can, the door's open, it's just like smoke is all you can see. And and like flickering lights that are obviously broken or whatever. And they like walk in. The Trandoshan, the lizard, like walks first, and you can see he's like tasting the air with his tongue. He's got this like big, heavy blaster rifle in his hand. He like steps forward. Death, he says. And the Deveronian says, Dara, what's happened?
Was that addressed to me? Sorry.
Yep.
Thank the gods of the galaxy you're here.
Friend, this looks bad. What's happened?
It looks really bad. You're men. You need to do more background checks, I think. What are you playing at?
So they kind of like move through the mist, and you can see that like as they approach, there's like this Aqualish who's like dragging Rala behind him. There's also this very, very large Trandoshan who looks like he doesn't know the meaning of taking shit. And he like is tasting the air. What has happened?
Why have you got my property in manacles? This is an outrage. First we're attacked, and now you take my property. I will not stand for this.
Your property killed Weequay in the landing bay.
Dara shoots her a look.
Master, I was down there as requested to meet with a client, and this Weequay, it took me into another room and he was attacking me.
You see, I don't know what kind of ship you like to run here, but where I come from, people respect people's property.
You can see the Trandoshan like looking between you, the two of you, and then looks at like the Deveronian. This is awkward. There have been a lot of deaths in a very short amount of time since you boarded. You're a man of station and wealth, and that's all well and good. But now 3 of our people have dead. Seems a little too coincidental.
What are you trying to imply?
He looks between you and the Twi'lek. Something's wrong. Hask. Arrest them.
I'm going to draw and I'm going to try and shoot the Trandoshan.
Oh, God. All right. Initiative, everybody.
Sorry, Lloyd, just to double check. Initiative, is it on the sheet?
It'll be again cool for you because you're planning it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Planning it, sure.
Well, you're making the decision, you know?
Yeah. And I get my thing, so I get an extra one, right? Because I'm super quick, right?
Yeah, if you spend a strain.
I will. Why not? There's just 1 blue die.
No, it's whatever your vigilance is, and you just add the success straight up.
Oh, so it's vigilance, not cool.
Oh, sorry, it's cool. Yeah.
Okay, and then symbols.
The explosion.
Explosion. Roll.
Oh, goodness me. Okay. What did you get, Jeff? I can't see it there.
I got 2 successes straight up.
Okay.
I figured it would be better to draw and fight whilst we have a force user, or at least some kind of talented person with the connection to the force, rather than get arrested and us have our weapons taken away. This is it. This is it.
Okay. Oh, I better roll for her. That's super important. Unsurprisingly, she's very good at this. Oh my god. Okay, well, she goes yesterday. Okay, so she's at the Trandoshan, the Twi'lek, at the chain. She like looks around, trying to like zone in on the best target, and she like puts out her hand and closes her eyes, and like there's like a woof, and she's going to try and fling somebody. Okay. So she goes and pushes, and you can feel like this subsonic woof. The Trandoshan is able to like hold his footing, but the Aqualish just goes to the back of the room and smacks against the wall. That's going to be her. And then it is our good pal Dara.
Yep, from the hip, he's going to try and blast the Trandoshan.
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
So you have 2 boosts, one from your gun and one from going before he does. And then if you wanted to, you could you could aim for 3. And if you wanted to, you could spend strain to aim again for 4 boosts.
I'm going to keep the strain for now, so I'll just have 3.
Okay.
So 2 yellow, 2 green, 3 blue, and 2 purples.
It's actually a red and a purple for this guy.
Motherfucker. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed.
Okay, that's a hit and advantages. Nice. Okay, so it's going to be 6 with Pierce 2. Some of that is soaked up by his armor and thick skin, but definitely it's a good shot. And he grunts, and that is going to be his turn next. He lifts his like heavy blast rifle. Is going to try and shoot you.
Okay.
Do you have any defense?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Shit.
Okay, so he goes to, he lifts this like big heavy blaster rifle and goes to fire and just goes and like doesn't fire, and he like looks down at it like hisses. So he throws that onto the ground and then like reaches for like a melee weapon, but that's the end of his turn. He will run right up to you. That's what he'll do with his maneuver. Okay, then it is, I think, Valen.
Yeah, Valen sees this thing just charging at Dara after tossing aside the blaster rifle, and he's going to bring up his own blaster rifle and just try to take him down before he can make contact.
Okay.
And I will be using one maneuver to aim here as well. That is a success and 3 advantages.
You didn't put any difficulty in?
Oh, I didn't.
So it's going to be a red and a purple. You can roll, if you want to keep that, you can roll those separate, or otherwise we can roll again.
Purple. Oh, okay, God.
So, yeah, so it's a miss with one advantage. So what's the advantage, do you think?
Trip on a chain or drop his weapon?
I think drop his weapon is generous for 1 advantage. It's got to be something more minor.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to, you could use
maybe
a destiny point
how about,
to have something more useful happen. You could flip over a destiny.
maybe like the shot goes down like by his feet, kind of forcing him to stall so that Valen can get in between this thing and Dara with movement.
That's perfect. Yep.
And then I'll take some strain as well here. I think is it 2 strain to use just the maneuver itself?
So you use 1 maneuver to aim, right? So you have to spend 2 strain to move. That will be your second maneuver.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I was gonna also do another. I have an ability that lets me do a maneuver, but it sounds like I've run out, so I will not do that.
Okay. Yeah, you get 2, one of which is free and one of which you can spend strain to use.
I see.
Okay. All right, that was you. Then we have Rala.
Assuming no one is holding on to Rala anymore, she would like to be backing up towards the door so that in the event of an exit, she's right there ready to go, because she is currently manacled and has no weapon.
Yeah, the Aqualish was like knocked to the back of the room. He seems to be unconscious. He's like been smashed into the wall. He has a pistol and a stun baton, and also the keys to your manacles, the guy who would grab you. So if you want to do something with that.
I would love to get the manacles off.
Yep. So you can like fumble around there and like look in his pocket until you find the like digital key to unlock them.
Do I need to roll anything for that, or is that just a gimme?
No, you can just use your action to do that.
Okay. That's what I'll do.
So the manacles dunk onto the ground, and he's like breathing heavily and unconscious beneath you. Okay, and then we have Zarn, who is not a warrior. He's a pimp. He's looking around, quite frightened. He's like moving away, backing away from this, and he's going to start running for the door. Is what he's going to do because he doesn't want to get killed. The Aqualish is unconscious, and then we're back to the top of the round. The Twi'lek is going to try and stop Zarn from getting away. And this, and this, and his willpower. Oh my goodness. That is, oh wow.
So are those light side points? What are those?
Yes, so she's using the Force. So there's like a whole extra mechanic that like you guys don't need to use. But when you're a Force user, you can like do certain things using the Force dice. And there's light side and dark side. And so if you get light side, it's great because you can use them. But unless you're a dark side user, you can use the dark side points, but it affects your morality. So every time you use the dark side or like reach into the dark side to use the Force, you'll get like negative points for your Jedi-ness. So she absolutely smashed that. He's pulled back, but there's a despair here as well, which is like the worst thing. So she pulls back too hard, and he like is flung across the room. He's going to collide with one of the poles and crumple. She's going to basically kill him accidentally, and she like cries out. That was not what she meant to do, and she's horrified. She like falls to her knees, like no, as he like crumples to the ground. Okay, and Dara.
Oddly, she read his mind to stop Zarn from running out. Because people with the Force, I guess, can just do that. And he ducks as this dude flies over the top of them and collides with that pole. But he's too busy with the Trandashan to really go and help at that stage. So he is just going to duck around the massive form of Valen, keeping him in the middle of him and the Trandashan, and he's just going to out the side and just go and just try and get this Trandashan from Valen as cover. Sorry, man. I've got the dice ready this time, so hopefully I'll be quick.
So it's a red and a purple for this guy. I'm going to give you a boost because he's engaged with Valen. He's not going to be able to defend himself particularly well.
Okay, so that means I get 3 boosts in total then, because I can aim and the other one.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's really good apart from that despair.
Apart from the despair.
Yeah. So we'll do the crit and then we'll figure that out. So it's going to be 6 damage and a crit because you have 4 advantages. So a percentile, please, and you can add 10 to it.
Okay. 19.
Not great.
Not great at all. Come on.
Distracted. The target cannot perform a free maneuver during his next turn. So it's sort of like a glancing blow, like catches him in the shoulder. So it's a little bit of damage. Now, the despair, something terrible happens to you, unfortunately, due to this despair. I think it's probably that your gun runs out of bullets, or not bullets, energy cells. So you'll have to take an action to like reload it or something like that. So you go, and then you're like about to fire again. You're just like click, 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 and you're like, ah! So you're gonna have to take an action on your turn to reload. I think that makes the most sense, unless you have something more interesting.
I think you know what? I think it's a running theme that Dara had done something to his weapon once to try and like boost the power, and a lot of time it's really effective, but every now and then it overheats. And it has like a track record of doing that, and he frustratedly starts hitting it against like the wall or the pole or something.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, the Trandoshan, which I like. I say Trandoshan, but I much prefer Trandoshan. I'm going to steal that from you.
Trandoshan, man.
It sounds more alien-y. He's going to just unload a can of whoop-ass upon you, Valen. I think, most likely. He's very good at fighting in close combat.
I'm not exactly familiar with so I don't know if this is something that I could have done, or if it's too late, then whatever. But would it have been possible for me to pull out my vibro blade while I was running, or is that a separate action in this system?
I think that's probably a maneuver.
Unless if it is, then that's totally fine. Yeah.
I think unless you have quick draw, which is what Dara has. Otherwise, it's a maneuver to draw a weapon.
Okay.
Yep. So he rushes up to you. Do you have any melee defense?
I do. I have 2.
Ooh, nice. Okay, and it's going to be 2. He doesn't get a free maneuver. That's right, because he's distracted. Otherwise, he would aim. That's all of it. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, so he has this like vibro axe. Makes this horrible sort of noise. And he swings it, and he's going to connect. This is going to be gross. Just give me 1 second here. I'm rusty as hell at this system. I haven't run in a long time. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, it's gonna be. What do you got? 1, 2, 3, and no, so it's gonna be 9, mitigated by your soak. This weapon doesn't have pierce, amazingly.
That'll be.
Oh, sorry, it has pierce 2. It has pierce 2, so you'll only so you'll only have 4 soak instead. So this axe just total. Like cuts through the Mandalorian iron and into your arm. But I think the threat is that like it's cutting through, but the Mandalorian iron is galaxy renowned as being powerful, and so like some of the teeth of the axe just go flying, and the weapon is going to have 1 less damage from that. Okay, that was him, and then it's you.
Yeah, Balin is going to grit and kind of pull his arm with the strain of the damage, kind of slipping his blaster rifle back before pulling out his own vibra sword, and just kind of like leaning in almost to the cut to just try to bash this guy with his own sword right back.
Nice.
All right. So would I brawl?
If you're trying to, if you're not trying to use your sword, then like it would be brawl.
Okay, what do I use? Oh, melee. Oh, I'm terrible at that. Is there a penalty for using weapons in close range?
Using
a long range weapon in close range.
I actually don't know. Don't know.
Because my rifle is way better in every way.
Yeah.
But it's going to be some terrible punishment for doing that, then we'll go through with the sword. Otherwise, I don't really see why.
Okay. Yes, there is. There's +2 difficulty to the roll because it's a heavy weapon when you're engaged. So that'll be 2 extra purples on top of the roll. It might still be better for you to do that.
Yeah. Range heavy is 2 yellows and a green, and melee is only 2 greens. So I think that might outweigh it still.
You could also use a destiny point to upgrade one of your other greens to a yellow if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep the. I'm gonna scratch that then, knowing the mechanics a bit better, and keep the rifle.
Okay.
And just even though he's like faced with the axe, just like yank the other arm from the axe, and just bring the rifle up. Take a second to aim, and then. Yeah, I think I will. I think I will just let this guy have it full force. I'll use one of our points to upgrade my last green to a yellow, so it'll be 3 yellows instead.
Okay. So you can click one of the light side destinies at the top to switch it over. Okay. Yep. And then, you upgrade your green to a yellow. So he's got, it's going to be red, it's going to be 3 purples, and he has 2 melee defense, so 2 setbacks.
Jeez.
It's a hit with some threat. Okay, what's the damage on your?
A blaster rifle is 9.
Does it have any pierce?
No, it does not.
Okay. Does it have any other like?
It has a stun setting, but I don't think that's the path that we're going down right now.
Okay, gotcha. All right, no worries. Okay, so that's going to be 9 minus his soak. He's taken some pretty heavy hits, although he is still standing. This strikes you as, this is the guy you heard about. So obviously he's going to be pretty capable.
And then I'm going to use my second maneuver, take some strain to use Mandel abilities, defensive stance. So Valen kind of readies himself now that he's kind of made his stance here. It's going to increase any difficulty of melee attacks against him by 1.
Okay, excellent. Cool. Just remind me of that because I'll certainly forget. Okay, that was Valen. Rala.
Is there any sort of a terminal in this room, or is it all outside for computers?
There's a terminal here, yeah.
All right. While they're engaged, I'm going to see if I can hack in and get the data that we're looking for.
All right. Yep. Last chance. So you rush over to this computer terminal. It's obviously there for pressing a button and going, "Excuse me, I would like more slaves, please." That's it's like a little communicator. But you get your data pad and plug it in. You can make me a computer check. Difficulty is going to be 2 reds.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, you do have a data spike that you could use if you wanted to.
So my first question is, because I was thinking about that. If I use the data spike, does that just get me in, or does that get me what I want?
It gives you a bonus to the check. Let me just double check exactly what.
Oh, and I shouldn't have rolled that because I forgot I had to add my 2 for computers.
Yeah, no, you can re-roll it. That's fine.
Okay.
Let me just check what the data spike exactly does because I think it's pretty good. Where is it? Oh, you don't have. Oh, you don't have a data spike.
I don't have a data spike? I thought you said that was in the slicer gear.
No. You've got a breaker. Someone has a data spike. Obviously, I gave that to the wrong person. You should have a data spike. I made these guys in 20 minutes earlier, so let me just double check. Okay, yes, so here's what data spike does. You can use it. And it'll give you boosts to your current check, but it also gives a boost to somebody trying to locate you. So if there's a slicer on the other end, they have a better chance of finding you because you've brute forced your way into the system.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can get into it without it, and then I'll see if I can find what I want using the data spike to essentially just bombard everything with the search.
Good call. Okay. So you have your plus...
Holy crap.
Oh, God. Is that good? I can't see.
Yes, it's very good. It's 4 successes and 5 advantages.
But you didn't put any difficulty in?
Oh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep. So it's 2 reds.
So do I just roll the reds or roll it all again?
Sorry, it's 2 reds because I'm using a dark side point.
Okay.
So it would have been a purple and a red usually. So yes, just roll the 2 reds and I'll parse it out.
Okay. Better you than me.
Okay. It's still a success. It's going to be 3 successes and
2 advantages, I think.
2 advantages. So it's definitely good. So you're like at the computer terminal, like there's this battle going on nearby, like and you can hear like of the Trandoshan and like of the Vira weapon. You can see like this Zarn guy like try to run and then he just gets like stuck back, and then there's like a sickening crack as he like connects with that pole, and you're just like desperately trying to get into this computer terminal. And you can see like all these like lists of things like scaling past it. Finally, there's like a blip, and you're in to the system. So you can see a couple of menus. This is, you only get to do this turn because of your 25% quicker ability. 3 main menus: ship security, guest manifest, and data.
Data.
Okay, so then I need you to make another computer check. This one, difficulty is going to be a red and 2 purples.
Okay. Oh, no.
Okay, so no success.
No success.
You're trying, but it's just like every time you like try a new password and you're trying to brute force it with your codes or whatever, it's just not working for now. We'll come back to you on your next turn. Okay, that was you. Zarn is dead. His neck broken from the impact, much to the horror of your new force-sensitive friend. The Aqualish begins to like, who's like unconscious, groan, although he's not fully conscious yet. Back to the top. The Twi'lek has like fallen to her hands and knees next to the Deverona who's dead next to her, and she's like cradling his head, and she's like, I'm sorry, like devastated. That's what she's going to do this turn. And then we're back to you, Dara.
At this point, Dara hurls himself over a table, rolls over it, his blaster pistol like steaming because it needs to cool down, so he won't be able to use it or attack this round. So instead, he rolls over that table and lands next to her and is sort of like face to face with her, sort of beneath this cover. And he says, he wouldn't mourn you, don't mourn him. And instead, he's going to take the blaster that he had from the dude that, dropped it with the mind trick, and he just goes, and he just blasts her chain off the
okay, nice.
Pole. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. You're an excellent gun slinger. You don't need to like aim to shoot at a chain, an inert chain. So it like breaks free. And she looks at you and she says, he wouldn't mourn me, but that's the difference. And there's like tears in her eyes. But she stands nonetheless and like looks, but she won't be able to act until her next turn. Okay. Hask is going to try and open you up.
Yep, make sure you add an extra difficulty for my defensive stance.
Right. Yep. Is it upgrade or increase? Does it say?
Upgrade.
Oh, nice. So that makes it a red.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let me just check. Okay, so one, and you have
And
two
I
melee
have
defense.
two
Yeah.
melee defense, yeah.
Okay. Boom. Oh.
Oh, god
fuck.
damn it.
This is bad.
See you guys.
Okay, so it's going to be, it's not too much damage, but it is going to be a crit, which is bad because the Vibro Axe has Vicious 3, which means that it's particularly crit heavy. So the damage is going to be 5, Pierce 2.
Okay, so I'll take only 1.
Okay.
From that.
And then roll a percentile. Actually, I'll do it in the menu here. Oh, fucking hell. This is really bad. So Vicious 3 means that it's plus 30. So that's going to be a 96. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, God. Okay, so he like swings this big axe over his head in like a circle, and then just into your left leg, and there's like this as it cuts in, crippled. That limb is crippled until healed or replaced. Increase the difficulty of all checks that require the use of that limb by 1. So that'll be like any sort of moving quickly. I would say also potentially to do with your defense and stuff for dodging. But yeah, so there's this brutal strike that like cuts into the leg, like goes through the Mandalorian iron, and then you would see like this like of like blood splatting out from that wound, and he like pulls it back out roughly. Okay, your turn, Valen.
I imagine Valen comes to give out under him. He has to kind of like stabilize himself on something nearby just to not fall over from that. Just like grunting in pain and agony, trying to be self-conscious and focused. Anger will allow him to do so. I'm just gonna have it. I'm gonna double aim.
Nice.
And a point, a light side point again. So
Okay.
So it's 1 dice per aim, so it'll be okay. Theoretically, this should be. Oh, I didn't even put any difficulty in either. So what's the difficulty?
The difficulty is a red and 3 purples.
Yeah,
No,
that
sorry.
was it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
so
Okay.
yeah.
No
Okay.
success and a threat. So it's like this big shot. What are we going to do with that 1 threat? Only 1 threat is not the worst. But what do you think?
Maybe the blast of the rifle knocks me down. I don't know what being prone in this system does, but
Yeah, it's not as bad as in
That would
D&D. That makes sense. Your leg is injured, and the recoil is pretty heavy, and you like take a step back, and then like the leg buckles, and you hit the ground. Okay, Zarn is still dead. Oh, sorry, it's actually you, Rala. So you're trying to get into this system, and you have failed so far. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna see if I can get in again.
Okay, do you want to use the spike?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So what did I say it was last time?
Like an extra boost, right?
It's 2 extra boosts.
2 extra boosts. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. See, okay, and this just gets me in. This doesn't find me the information.
This will get you into the data folder. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So the difficulty I think was 2 red last
2
time,
reds.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to use the destiny point again to make sure it's still 2 reds.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
see what happens.
Oh my goodness.
Hee
Yep.
hee hee.
You're definitely in there. Okay, so you got 4 advantages and a triumph. So I'm going to tell you. You get into the folder, whatever, and you can open up, and it's like scrolling past you. Client lists, shipping routes, warehouse locations, like all these like very valuable things, like information on trading routes and stuff like that. That would be very valuable. And then ding 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 ding. Project Darksaber.
Yeah, my glasses are clicked on, and I'm recording as much of this as I possibly can.
Yep. So I'm going to need 1 final check to actually get in there because you can see it. I'm going to say because of the triumph that you have, I'm going to give you 2 boosts.
Okay. Is it still difficulty 2? Red?
Yes, I'm going to use a point. Let me do that. Okay. Yep. Okay, so it's not a success, but a triumph and 3 advantages.
Okay, so I have a data stick.
Mhm.
It's not a success because maybe I can't get it on the data stick and it's only recorded on my like thingy. So I've still got it, but not maybe what they want. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it, but it's you have like mechanically failed to get into the you know what I mean?
To get into the folder. Ooh.
Yeah. I do like that idea though. Something like that might be interesting. But
Or
you have
maybe
like
you get the folder bit, you're not able to unlock it, so you'll be giving them encrypted data. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that. So you're able to like get the entire folder and like copy it across.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will say because of the 3 advantages you have, it'll take only 2 rounds instead of like 10, which is a lot of data.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to like stand there and like and wait for it and like keep typing and whatnot to like try and get it to get across.
Okay.
Yeah. You also definitely know that hellish window. Beep, 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 somebody is aware. The Aqualish grunts and he like goes, "Ugh," and he like rolls over onto his front and begins to stand shakily. The Twi'lek is standing on the platform and she's like looking around all this death and destruction. Not happy about it. But she wants to get out of here. She needs to save the day. She wants to like be free of this hellish life. So she walks to where you are, Valen, and she pulls the vibro sword from the scabbard that you have and is going to swing for the Trandoshan. He's got one of these, 2 of these. She's going to use some force to try and make it work. Okay, so that's two advantages. All right, so she swings this sword with just unbelievable skill. You cannot imagine you've ever seen anyone like this. And you, Valen, would have seen like, you know, like Death Watch high ups who are like some of the best swordsmen in the galaxy. But she's just amazingly quick. And like he parries the first blow, but then 4 of them follow. And she's gonna do quite a bit of damage to him. He's almost dead, but still standing. He's like bleeding from lots of wounds. He's got several like blaster holes in him, but he's still going. And then it's your turn, Dara.
So I think it's one of those cases where Dara was saying like, oh, you know, you don't need to mourn him. And like he shoots the chain and he's feeling really heroic. He wheels around and prepares to shoot the Trandoshan. And then this Twi'lek just runs past him and just batters the Trandoshan. He's just stood there like, huh. And then out of the corner of his eye, he sees the Aqualish like dragging himself to his feet. So instead, he's going to full on Gene Hackman in the French Connection, just take a really good aim and shoot him in the back.
Excellent.
I think I lined the die up. Oh, I didn't. I was organized last time. Right, here we go.
No worries, take your time. So I'm going to use a red. So it's going to be 2 reds to hit him. He doesn't have any ranged defense, so it's just going to be 2 reds for the difficulty.
So does 2 reds mean he's more difficult to hit than the Trandoshan?
Oh, the Aqualish. Sorry, I thought you meant the Trandoshan.
Yeah, like the Trandoshan's getting battered, so he's going to try and stop him from interfering with
yes,
with the programming. Yeah.
Okay. No, then that's fine. He only is 2 purple to hit.
2 purple. Right on. Let's go.
Oh my god.
That looks good.
It's really good. So you can use the crit and then use the remaining advantages to add +10 to the crit each time. So you'd add +30.
Okay.
If you were so inclined. Plus you have lethal blows, so it'll be +40 to the crit.
Okay. 97 plus 40. What does that even mean?
What is that exactly? That's 137?
137, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Bleeding out. Every round, the target suffers 1 wound and 1 strain at the beginning of his turn. For every 5 wounds he suffers beyond this wound threshold, he suffers an additional critical injury. So he will die in a couple of turns. You've like shot into like an artery or something like that, and he's just bleeding out. It's a matter of time. And every 5 damage he takes, he will continue to take more crits.
Yeah, I like to think that he was staggering up, trying to get ready to stop whatever Rala's doing, and then just, like he just gets gunned down from the back of the room. Bit gutted I didn't use that on the bounty hunter, but never mind.
Yeah, it would have been harder though because he would have had red dice.
Very true.
Yeah, nice shot. So this Aqualish, he's like trying to stand. He's like on his hands and knees, and then he gets shot, and he just like back onto the ground, bleeding profusely. Okay, that was yourself. Okay, Hask. Possibly his final action. He's going to try and strike at this Twi'lek. I'm going to use Oh, am I? Yeah, I am. Do that. Give him that. Okay, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and bam. Okay, he hits her hard with the axe, and it like bites into her arm, doing quite a bit of damage, and she's bleeding heavily, but she seems to be dealing with it a lot better than you would think she would be, or she should be. Okay, that's him. Valen.
All right. Valen is going to pry himself up off the ground. I don't know if that costs like a maneuver to do so or anything mechanically.
Yeah, I think it's a maneuver to stand.
All right, and then I will use a second maneuver as well as a point to try to let this guy have it. To aim and then to up my shot.
Nice.
I didn't put any. I'm so bad at this.
Okay, still a hit with 2 threat. Okay, so 9 is going to do it anyway. But there is some threat. What do we think?
Threat to Valen?
Yeah, 2 threat.
Yeah, it's down to Jeff.
Yeah, it's up to all of us if we can think of something interesting.
Well, what does true threat mean? Like, how bad are we talking?
So 1 threat is like an inconvenience. 2 threat is a like decent inconvenience, and the more you go up, the more like when it gets to 3 threat, it's equivalent to a despair.
So you're.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You
were shooting with your rifle, yeah?
Yes.
Maybe it recoils in a way you weren't expecting, and it hits you in the face.
We could have it overheat as well, is another option. We could have, let's go with that. There's like a sudden, like, you've been firing it a lot in very close quarters, and there's like a sort of overheat, and there's a little bit of like melting around the muzzle, which will need to be fixed. Okay, that was Valen. The Trandoshan is dead. He takes this like final shot, and he like stands there stupidly for a second, and he like looks around. This is not how I'm supposed to die, and falls into the one of the pillowed pits, and bleeds his sort of thick viscous blood on the fine silk pillows. Okay, so we're basically out of combat. That Aqualish is not getting up, and long seconds go by as you wait for the data to transfer until it finally is on the stick. The alarm is blaring.
Time to go. I've got it.
Dara turns around to because there were other dancers and slaves in the room as well, right? Or were they?
Yep.
So he basically blasts the chain off them or whatever. Slides 2 of the weapons from the guards and the Trandoshan and the Aqualish or whatever to them and says, if you want to come with us, be prepared for the risk and the danger. We're going to have to fight our way out. The option is there if you wish to take it.
Many of them like look to each other like they have, like it's impossible for them to imagine fighting their way out of anywhere, like this Twi'lek that you've rescued obviously is not a pleasure slave, but many of these were like born into it, and like the idea of like rebellion is alien. They don't understand. They can't imagine rebelling properly, and so they like look nervously, and they like look to her, and she like says, "Come, we can leave." Many of them are like holding onto the chain, as if they don't want to go.
Valen is going to. Sorry, go ahead. Balin is going to not even pay attention to the slaves. He's like walking away towards the door already, limping on. He's gonna kind of reach back and pull out one of his stim packs and just immediately jam it into himself. Which I think is going to heal 5 wounds.
Yep. The first one is 5. The second one is 4.
If I have time,
keeps going.
if I have time to use 2, I will use 2.
Yeah, I think you do. So the second one gives you 4.
Perfect. So that'll put me down only to 1 wound at the moment. Balin's just not paying attention to the slaves. He's just jamming stim packs into him, just trying to get his leg back to work, but it's still it's pretty rough.
Yeah, you can feel this like shot of adrenaline as you like put 1 and then a second stim pack in like a matter of seconds, and you can feel like this sort of like crazy energy like flow through you as the wound begins to like close up a little bit from the back to sort of infused stim packs. Okay, you're standing in this room. The alarm's going crazy. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just look back and say, well, whether they come or not, we still need to go now. They can follow us if they want. And then he's just going to immediately start going the way out.
Dara snatches up a comlink from either the Fallen Dranishan or the Aqualish or whatever and goes... wait, hang on a second. What level was the hanger on? Was it the 3rd? The lowest?
Yes, the lowest level. Yep.
Yeah.
Targets are escaping, moving to the upper levels.
You hear like grunts of various like aliens like responding. Yes, there's the door out of here leads to the cantina, but there is another door in the back.
He looks to Zabara and says, "Back way the best way?"
I've never been there. I don't know. Probably better than the cantina, though.
I'm feeling lucky. Let's do it.
Fair enough.
Unsurprisingly, this door is locked. Yep. Go ahead.
Difficulty?
It's going to be 2 reds.
Okay.
Whew. Okay. It's a huge success. You're able to get it really, really quickly. But as you do so, the alarm goes off, and it's clear that the people are not getting away to the upper level, that they're still in the room. That's what the despair is. And you can hear like on the comlink, like people fucking shouting and getting quite angry. But the door opens. And it's like a service corridor. There's like loose wires and stuff, and you can start running down it.
Dara shoots the comlink, boring conversation anyway, and goes.
You can hear behind you like poof, the door get kicked in, and like these grunts and stuff as people like get into the slave quarters, and they're like looking around. As you're like running down the end of the corridor, there's like shots like chasing you as you turn a corner, and like they fire into wires, and there's like steam and sparks, and they're chasing you as quickly as they can. You are running down this corridor, and you go down some stairs and another door in front of you.
Locked?
It is locked.
Yep.
It's 2 purples. I'm not going to use any more dark sides.
Get programming. We'll cover you. And Dara like flattens his back to like the corner of the wall, and like because have we just gone around a corner to the door, Lloyd?
Yes.
So we have a bit of yeah. So instead, he just leans his arm around the corner and just fires, not intending to hit anyone. Just to cover
I think
fire.
about the time you finish saying that, she goes, "Done."
Yeah. Yep. So there's some shots like being fired up and down towards you as well, like smashing like bits of the metal hull of the ship and like wires, exposed wires and things like that. As the door opens, you realize you're now on the bottom level, and you can see that you're in one of those long corridors that will lead to the hangar, and you're like running along it. You run past like the open door to the computer room that you were looking for. Rala, and you can see like in there's like 2 droids who are like working. You run past that into the actual hangar itself. There's that empty fighter, a couple of slaves, and that's all that's down there.
How big is the empty fighter? Can we all fit in it if we squeeze?
I mean, you could fit in it, but you wouldn't like. It would be deeply uncomfortable to like go on the length of journey you need to go on.
But our ship is outside, right?
Yes.
We can get to the ship, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, was it moved away mechanically, or was it just like how did it get put back outside?
Yeah, so it's like there's like a system where if you dock to the bottom, then like there's like sort of tractor beams that will move it away so that other ships can dock. You know, so it's basically like following this ship behind.
We'll cover you. You hack into the systems. Bring the ship to the hangar. We'll hold here.
Don't know how fast that's going to be.
Just do it. And Dara basically takes position.
All right.
I will do similarly.
Excellent. Do you have a gun to give the Twi'lek?
She had a vibroblade, didn't she?
How
she does.
How badly, like, was the damage to my rifle bad enough that I to use it anymore, or will I still be able to do that?
You can use it. I'll say it's like a setback until you get it fixed.
Okay. Then I will pull the sidearm off my belt and say, "Here, use this."
Thank you. She gets in position as well. So you run to a terminal, Rala. Let's have a computers check. Difficulty a red and a purple. You're in. They're like coming down the corridor, and you can see them like there's maybe 10 of them that you can see with various blasters and stuff, and they're like firing. I'd like each of you to make a shot, and I'm going to make a couple of shots as well.
I'm going to throw all my strain into this now. Who needs it?
Two.
Yeah. Idea.
And remember, you have the dark side points that you can use as well, or light side points.
Yeah, I think I will. Now's a good time.
I think I will also. So explain to me what you're doing.
Was there a difficulty that I should have put in?
Oh yes. Yep. It's just 2 purples.
Okay. I think that's still going to be a lot.
Yep. That's enough damage to kill 2 of them. So this, what you're facing here, just mechanically, is a mob of minions. So like the more of them they are, the more effective they are. But each time you do damage over a certain amount, you'll kill one. So 2 of them, like you're like, and 2 of them fall. Rob, if you use a light side point,
is that the white one?
At the very top, above the dice or whatever, you can see there's like the Jedi symbol.
Oh, the destiny point. Yeah.
Yep. So if you use that, you can turn one of your greens into a yellow for a ranged. And if you don't have any more greens, then you basically get another green.
Oh, I have 1 green, so that's fine.
Yeah, so you'll upgrade that. The difficulty is 2 purples.
2 purples, here we go.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so another 2. You're like firing as quick as you can. They have shot down, and I need to roll that again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. You have defense, don't you? Range defense of 1, is that right, Valen?
Me? Yes, 1.
Okay, so Dara, you're going to take 5 damage mitigated by soak, and okay, so Valen, you would take 6, but I think you'll just soak it all.
Yeah, that's exactly my soak. Just the brain armor too strong.
Okay, so that's all happening. Rala, did you roll already?
I rolled last turn.
Okay, that was to get in, right?
That was to get in. Do you want me to roll again the same thing to get the ship to us?
Yes, you need to get into the ship files or whatever, right? So it's basically like another menu comes up and there's like different folders to get into, like crew manifest, all these different things, but one of them is ship control.
Yeah. I want to get in, and if I can also this turn, start like bringing it to us. I don't know if I can.
It depends how well you roll, I guess. So I'm going to use one of these boys, and it's going to be 2 reds.
Okay.
Wow. Nice. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So you're able to, you get in, you like find, you like sift through all the ships or whatever, you're able to find yours, and you like initiate the controls that bring it around. So it's coming.
Can I use those advantages to have found like a way to make it move 2 times speed? So if it was gonna take it 4 rounds to get there, now it takes 2.
Yes. Yep. You have over triumph there. So yes. So it's coming. It's coming quick. The ship, and you can tell them that as like. So guys, make another shot, and they're going to shoot you as well, or try.
Lloyd, are they in the blast doors? Are they behind blast doors coming into the hangar, or are they in the hangar?
So you came down this corridor, whatever. They're coming right after you. So they're kind of like, if you imagine the corridor, they're at the end, and they're like occasionally popping out and firing and popping back.
Oh, so there isn't like an open door between us because he was thinking about shooting the controls of a door, maybe to close the doors.
There is a door. Yep. So you could try and shoot that if you wanted to.
That's what Dara is going to do. Yeah, he's going to try and do that.
Excellent. So the difficulty will be higher then because it's a cold shot.
That's fine.
It'll be 3 instead. And I'm going to use one of these to make it a red and 2 purples.
Ooh, a red and 2 purples.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to spend to get another blue. Okay, so that's 3 blues now. Okay, here we go.
Success.
Oh dear. Yes.
Yep. So, you shot first though, Valen. We'll say that because you already shot.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. So
Three
it's
successes and an advantage.
So another one dies. But there are more coming, and you can like see that that they're like piling up there at the door, and like to your horror, the other side, the like main blast doors, you can see like coming into the actual hangar are a bunch of people as well, and the alarm is just like wah, 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 like going mental. Okay, and then you manage to shoot the door, Dara, and it goes and closes, and you can hear like from behind the door. They're obviously running around to find a new place. So the people in the hangar are now going to try and shoot you. First at Dara. Oh boy. So that's going to be 7 damage minus your soak.
Okay. Yowzers. Let me see. My soak. Ouch, so that's 4.
And you are stunned from the crit.
No.
One of them like catches you in the, maybe like just in the ear, or like grazes your ear, and you're like spun around and unable to like react. And then one of them is going to try and shoot our pal here. 1, 2. I'm gonna upgrade. Oh wow, what a waste. So 6 damage. Ping! Against Valen and his impossible armor. Okay, the ship is coming. One more round. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to stay where you are? Or do you want to run out to where the thing is and try and jump on the ship as soon as it gets here?
I think Valen is going to, if he can see that Dara bell rung a little bit there, I think he's gonna try to like just grab him, and like drag his ship's gonna be, and
okay,
use it instead.
Yep, and you can like interpose yourself between him and the enemies. So you're like dragging him, Rala.
So Rala, I think once the ship is here, she's going to go straight for it. And if she can see that Dara is not in good shape, she would head to the controls and see if she can try and get us out of here. It's not her specialty, but better than being sitting ducks.
Yeah, the ship hasn't actually come yet, but you're just like taking the action now to like run out, so that when it is here, you don't have to like then run out to go. It's coming, and you can actually see it through some of the windows that like the ship is like moving on its own, with these like tractor beams or whatever being brought, and it's currently being flipped upside down, and now agonizingly slowly is like being like put into place. Zabara is like running next to you guys, and as like some of these shots are being fired, she like lifts her hand, and one of them is like absorbed by her, unbelievably. That was going to like hit you, Valen, in the back, and you're like running for the ship, and it like all this like steam, and the ramp opens, and you can jump in. One more round of shots from them as you try and get away.
I didn't get to make any actions whilst I was being dragged away. I'm still up, so can I also have a shot back?
You're stunned. That's yeah.
Oh, of course I'm stunned. Yes, apologies. Yeah.
Yep, that's why he's dragging you. Okay, so it's going to be 3 and 2 and 1 for. Okay, they miss you, Valen. But something good happens for them. Okay, they miss you entirely, but they manage to like glance against your arm that's carrying Dara, and you like drop him for a second, and he like stands there kind of like woozily shaking, and they're going to try and shoot him. And they do for 4 damage. Sorry, 5 mitigated by soak is what it is.
Hang on, let me just work this out. I think I might still be up. I'm still up.
Okay, nice. So like you're standing there kind of like, oh, what the hell? And then boom, a shot like grazes your arm. The ship is in place, and you're able to like all jump inside, and like between Zabara and Valen, you're able to like pull the blast thing closed, even though like it should be mechanical. You're like pulling the ramp closed, and you're in, and you're like running in the upside down ship, trying to get to the controls. I'm going to need you to make a check for me, Rala, to like unclamp yourself and fly away.
Okay. Piloting?
Yes. Difficulty
Space, presuming?
Space, yep.
Okay. I'm going to use a light side point.
Yep.
Does that give me a yellow and a green instead of 2 greens?
Exactly, yep.
Okay. Oh, no.
No success, but advantage. So you're getting there. You're like starting to do the correct checks and stuff, but you don't usually fly this thing. So there's like a couple of switches that have been unswitched that you're like not sure what to do. There is like this like rain of like shots against the ship, although they seem to be mostly ineffective. Okay, Valen, run and start the ship. And you can, for me, Rala, make an astrogation check to like plot a course away. Dara, what are you doing?
So he takes another shot in the shoulder, but he's still just about going. Was I dragged into the ship, or am I still outside the ship?
Yeah, you would have been dragged.
Okay, so the thing is, I think Valen's an even better pilot than me. So I think it might be better to get Valen in there. So instead, what he's going to do is he's going to run to the guns, if we have any, and he's going to try and use gunnery to start laying waste to the people in the hangar.
Cute call. Yep. So you like run to the turret, and you like, to their horror, they just see like the as it moves into position. And you can go ahead and make a shot for me.
So I usually have just 4 greens. I'm guessing it's gunnery, right?
Gunnery. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to use a light side point. So will that turn one of them yellow?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Oh god, yep. So guns on ships and stuff have breach, which is like pierce, but pierce 10. So there's just like this, and it's like these massive shots like rake across where they are, and like they're like flung away, a lot of them. Chaos. As you're like firing as quickly as you can.
And from the gunning seat, he screams down the corridors to the cockpit, "Angle the shields!"
Yes, excellent. So, Valen, make me a pilot check to get the hell out of here. And if you want to, Raleigh, you can make computers to try and get the shields working.
Beauty. I'm going to use a light side point as well. It's a good time. And my oh my god.
Wow,
And
that's a
my
good roll.
difficulty.
I would say it's 2 purples and 2 setbacks for the stress of the situation.
What was my difficulty for shield? I forgot that part.
Same thing, 2 purples and 2 setbacks. Okay, so what's going on here? So which one of those is the pilot?
It's the 3 triangles and the advantage.
Okay, yeah. What's this one with the boost?
So my shields. So I ended up total with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. My threats and advantages cancel out, and then I have 1 triumph.
Amazing, excellent. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so you're unfortunately unable to get the ship going, Valen, right? You're like trying, but it's just too much chaos, and you're not used to this. It's been a long time since you were like in an actual battle, and you've taken just a ridiculous amount of damage. And like the stim packs, while they make you feel better, they don't make you 100%. And so you're like shaking a little bit from like the adrenaline and stuff, and you're trying to get it all sorted, but you can't quite yet. But Raleigh, you're just like dancing across that keyboard, and like the shields begin to get angled, and you can see like all these shots like bouncing against the shield. Like the small weapons they have are going to be ineffective, but you can see coming around is a heavy gun. Like they're bringing one out and getting it ready to fire, which might be effective.
Valen, I have shields up, but now would be a good time to leave.
Yep. So Valen, you can make me another check, and you, Dara, can make another gunnery strike. As you're doing it, Valen.
I'm going to use that last point out of desperation.
Okay.
I didn't ask last time. Did what was the difficulty against the gunnery? I didn't ask before.
It would just be 2 purple and 2 black. I'm doing the 2 blacks for the stress.
Yeah, and I'm aiming for the
big gun.
The big gun, yeah.
This is not going well.
Okay, yeah, so there's a pew, pew, poof. You like hit the energy pack of the big gun and it explodes. A bunch of them are knocked away.
Can I assist Valen? I can give him 2 blues for an assist.
Absolutely. So I imagine like you're just like standing next to him, like fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. You know, just like trying to get him to do it. And like in all that chaos or whatever, the Twi'lek Zabara comes over and she puts a hand on your shoulder, Valen, and she says, "Breathe, calm," and she's going to give you a boost as well.
Okay, so 3 blue.
Now or never.
Yes.
Okay, but also you also need to roll the rest of the die. So you got that.
Well, it was I already did. It's okay. the 2 threats.
Okay, I got you. Yep, perfect. So then you're able to like maybe you're like flicking all the switches, or whatever, and then like between Rada like helping you flip switches and like program some things, and then like this strange sort of calming that comes over you when Zabara like puts her hand on your shoulder. You're able to like take a breath and like finally like and like the ship begins, and you can like disconnect from the big ship and like begin to fly away. So as you're flying away, there are other issues. You can tell immediately there is like a as like guns are targeting you from the big ship. You can also see that 2 of the fighters have like dipped their wings and are moving in your direction. Let's go around. So I want you to make a piloting check to either you can punch it, which would mean you go faster. You can like dodge. There's actually mechanics for this, which I should have given you before we started. 1 second, I can find them. There are some really nice cheat sheets for this game. It's gone. Okay, I can't find
So
it.
if Valen is gonna punch it, do I need to make an astrogation check, or can I assist him?
So you've already made that check. You just
Okay.
need to get far enough away from this ship, otherwise it could be really dangerous. So you've already made the astrogation. You know where you're jumping to, which is fine. You just need to like get out of so one round of you surviving here, and then you're free and home. So go ahead and make me a piloting check, Valen.
Absolutely.
You still have a boost from Zabara, who's kind of calming you.
Alrighty. And do I still have the setbacks, the 2 black as well? So 2 purple, 2 black?
Actually, instead of giving you a boost, she's going to remove those setbacks. That's what the calm will do, because the stress is causing the setbacks.
All right, so it's just 2 purple then for difficulty. Yeah. Perfect. All right, there we go.
Okay, so you're able to like gain speed and move away. A shot barely clips the edge of your ship, and you're finally able to say, punch it and hit the button, and the stars bend and streak and gone. And you can see, or we see for a second, like the weak-way pilots in their fighters who are just like punching their controls, like and somewhere we can see Durga the Hutt like lick his eye with his gross tongue and like whispers something in Huttese to that creepy Twi'lek who you met on the way in, and you're away in hyperspace. Now you know that they can't track you, thankfully. That technology doesn't exist as far as you know. And you are in the quiet of hyperspace. Finally, you can take a breath.
Didn't I say it would be fine?
What happened? Why was there shooting when I came up? What happened?
You were shooting people too.
You killed someone. You killed someone just the same. I don't know it.
I was different. I was by myself in a room alone.
Look,
not in a room with cameras and multiple guards. And
we made it out. We were gonna see how it goes. We were gonna riff with a plan, and it paid off. Just like I said. Don't worry about it.
So much for getting in and out unnoticed. I thought that was the plan. Subtlety.
It's overrated, in my opinion. He says quietly, like rubbing his many, many wounds that he has sustained.
Yeah, Valen says, I agree, as he like feels the move cut out of his leg armor and where his leg is like completely crippled.
Zabara comes and sits. I guess you've all like moved into like the like kitchen area, you know, like sitting down, maybe like drinking a space coffee, whatever it might be, and like taking your time and kind of breathing a little bit. And she would say, I'm grateful that you've saved me, but I can't imagine you're going to bring me somewhere I want to go.
No, you're right. The Black Sun have asked us to bring you.
Black Sun. Was it the Faline?
The what? Sorry?
The Faline. Big, green.
Yes. Excuse him. He can't be bothered to learn anyone else's race.
That is not true, although I cannot pronounce what you are.
Can't go there.
Maybe there's a way we can both get what we want.
What do they want with you anyways?
Oh, look at her. What do you think?
The Empire pays a lot of money for people like me. You don't seem like bad people. I think you're in over your head. And I don't think you want this on your conscience, that they would sell me to the Empire. The Empire would torture me and kill me. I don't think you want that.
Look,
Not
you
when you
might
put
have
it that
mind
way.
powers. You might have mind powers, and you might have some connection to a weird religion that died out a long time ago. But don't presume to know who we are, okay? Look, I get it. They're going to do bad things to you. I don't want that. But then if we don't take you, bad things are going to happen to us. So how would you suggest in your infinite wisdom that we solve both those problems?
Tell them you couldn't get me. Tell them I died in the attempt.
Yeah, that actually works.
What? You don't think the hut's gonna have everybody looking for her? You don't think word's gonna spread that she's missing?
I will vanish.
Did Dargan know
Not
what
to
you
mention,
are?
the deal that was made was that we bring them both things. We don't bring them both the girl, then we haven't held up our end of the deal. They're under no obligation to hold up theirs. We're still in a bad spot.
Besides, even if we said you died, they'd want to see the body.
I imagine if we provide them with the plans for this dark saber, whatever that is, then at least they can see that we tried to accomplish the goal. We will offer ourselves for another job. Maybe one that doesn't involve as much being shot. That would be ideal.
You know, Jex, the Dark Sun have such a wonderful history of rewarding effort without results.
We got them this. No one else could have done that, but we did. We're useful. They know we're useful.
I can't offer you credits. I can't offer you anything. I've been a slave for a long time.
You don't need to offer us anything. Just... Is there a way that we could potentially pretend to give you over and then you use your mind powers to convince them that you've been captured but you actually haven't, and you play like a trick on them? Can you do that?
It's complicated.
Tell me about it.
The tricks, as you say, they're short lasting, useful in an emergency, in a moment. But I couldn't, not with all of the people that would be there, all of the security.
Dara looks over to he looks over to Valen and he says, "What's our time frame? How long do we have until we're due back?" We had a time frame for when we could strike the ship, but not necessarily when we had to return. They were kind of a bit vague about that, if I'm understanding the situation right. And he shoots you a smile.
He would hold up the communicator that they were given and say, "They did say once we were out, get in touch."
They don't know we're out.
All of that took, what, less than 5 hours? So by their count, we could still have 43 hours left.
Yeah, plenty of time. We got lost in a nebula and we couldn't contact you. Such was our desperate escape.
Fair enough. We'll decide.
No, nothing is decided. That doesn't help.
Sure it does.
Just drop me off at any backwater, anywhere. I'll vanish. You'll never hear from me again. I'll go.
That's not the issue. The issue is that we will die.
All right. Then bring me.
We can't give her to them. They're gonna kill her. I mean, I've done a lot in this galaxy, and I've seen a few things. But one thing I'm not is someone who leaves people just to be executed or being profit by execution. It's not how I roll, man.
Okay, then what's the magic third option?
We run.
Yeah.
And having someone with your talents might be useful in our crew. You can stick with us. You can help us. We can work out a solution together. We do make quite a team.
Yes. All right. And thank you.
Don't sweat it. Valen, set a course for Nar Shaddaa. I have some friends there.
But you owe me 5,000 credits.
I don't think it was 5,000 credits, Valen. Come on.
Oh, no. You owe me
That's
5,000 too.
explicitly what they said. 5,000 for the girl and the plans. I'm holding you to that.
Ooh, we have plans. We could sell those.
It's true. A lot of people will want this, not just the
True.
Black Sun.
Could be worth a lot.
So to plot another course, you would need to drop out of hyper space.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, where did I initially plot us forward?
I think just far from where you were. I would say like the next system over from the nebula.
Yeah,
So,
so
like,
we'll
outer
just
rim.
look over to Rala. She's the one who's been doing the course plotting.
Fine. Drop us out of hyperspace and I'll do it.
You are hailed immediately.
Shoot. In the meantime, I'm plotting a course. What's my difficulty?
It's just 2 purples. HWK 290 freighter. Send transponder codes immediately and prepare for inspection.
Did we get a reading to see what kind of ship is hailing us, Lloyd?
Imperial patrol boat. Routine inspection.
Fuck.
Send transponder codes immediately. Prepare for inspection. And that's probably where we're going to end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. That was really fun.
We're doing
That was
another
a lot
one,
of fun.
guys.
We're going to have to, yeah.
have to do another one. That was great. That was
We gotta get someone in to play our force-sensitive NPC.
Oh, no. Yeah, that'd be so great. Oh, that was really fun. I love this game. I forgot how much I like it.
That was great. That was really, really great.
Oh, it's good fun.
Yeah.
I know I whinge a lot about the Fantasy Flight system, but like, I just like to whinge. Like, that was really good fun. That was really good fun. I can't deny. I always have good fun playing this game. It confuses me, but I'm sure I'll learn.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was really rusty today as well. There's also like extra, like, for example, the flying has like specific actions that you can do that make it much more exciting rather than like make a piloting check. There's like all these different kinds of, the same way like you have actions in combat, you have actions in space combat.
Yeah.
Which is kind of great. And there's like other stuff on top. Like I made fairly simple characters mechanically for you guys, but like there's a lot more that you can do if you're like going down the road. So I would love to play another one of these sometime soon. I really like this the situation that we're in.
Definitely. I'm down.
Cool. Thank you for watching. If you did, I had a couple people all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it and see you next time.